Do
What will
you know?
happen?
Do you know how tempted I am to take something?
I would
I
love for
have,
you to take Trin. It would be,
I have,
I want to see the experiment. I want to see what happens.
I have a friend here in Grand Forks who used to be a competitive bodybuilder, so he can get it really easily. I'm so tempted, dude.
Dude, I'm on the precipice. Dude, I swear to God, I just got my blood work done. If that shit comes back low, even just like close to the, I'm hopping on TRT, boys. I don't give a fuck. I'll tell everybody too. Like, I used to do drugs, Like, I don't give a, I've done meth. Like, I don't care telling people that, like, yeah, I'm on test now and my life's better, Like,
Yeah,
fuck everybody. But yeah, no,
yeah.
you would be a much, have you ever seen like those like dogs or like horses, they're born with that like mutation where they have like double the amount of muscle mass
Like the
and they just look.
Oh, yeah, like a bully
Yes,
with it.
yes. Like that's what I see if Will were to take Trent. I need it to happen. I
Does
do.
anyone know if Blaine takes anything?
I asked him. I asked him, bro. But well, I brought it up. I was like, dude, fuck this, dude. I'm gonna start taking tests like soon. And he was like, he said he was like, I'm thinking about it at 40 years old. I said, dude, fuck that. Start now. Like we need to
Yeah.
see. The people need to know, dude. You know?
Dude, I'm
But
telling you,
no,
I for sure will once I get to like, no question I will. Once I get to an age where like I really start slowing down, I for sure
mhm,
will. Like maybe
yeah,
that's 40, maybe that's 36, who knows. But
yeah.
at some point I will. Yeah.
these softball guys, they post their workout videos. They're all fucking every single supplement you could put your hands on. They are injecting right into their butt cheeks. And their training
Supplement,
is the
dude.
dumbest training of all time. And their traps, I have never seen dudes like it's just a whole team of 6'2" dudes with like 6'4" traps. It's
Yep.
crazy. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at right now?
Yeah,
You
dude.
guys gonna take
Testosterone
anything?
is undefeated.
Oh yeah. What if there's like the only I hate needles. I despise needles. Not good with needles. Yeah,
Oh,
so that part I'm a little scared of.
that's tough.
But also like I'm scared of like all the horror stories, so I need somebody I need you to be my test dummy.
I took GLP-1s, still kind of taking them on and off.
Is that's the weight loss thing, right?
Hmm.
And it was effective? You liked it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all the fear mongering around it is crazy. Um, nothing, dude. It's like a miracle drug. Um, I think I was 232. I was 232 in June when I first took my first, yeah, when I took my first dose, I was 232.
Yeah.
I got down to, I think 223.8 was like the lowest on the scale, but I didn't lose any muscle mass. Like there's a muscle sparing effect that those drugs have. Um, yeah, dude, they're awesome.
What
Well,
what does
dude,
it
I
what
need
did you
that.
notice? Like what's it do?
Well, it like regulates your blood glucose, regulates your insulin levels. So it's like a really strong appetite suppressor.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't really know. I've listened to a bunch of like podcasts on it. I've read some of like the abstract of research papers and stuff. Seems really promising. Um, yeah, but like the muscle sparing effect from it, and you know how like when you're in a cut or if you're like reducing calories, you feel low energy. I didn't feel any of that, and like I never had when I was taking it. I never felt like overly hungry. Like I never had any cravings. I could have gone a full day of eating like 1,000 calories probably, and I would have been totally fine energy wise. Like, it's just insane how effective those things are.
Jake, what's the effect on tendons there?
Um, why did you take it, Will?
I wanted to lean out.
Oh,
That's it. That's the
I
only
thought it was
reason.
just for like really fat people.
Well, I mean, the original intent was for diabetic people with diabetes to take it, but
Yeah.
now
Is
it's
it
I
from
becoming
the
like a
saw
same shit
I
as like
saw I know some
Ozempic?
people.
Or is it different?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Same
was
shit.
taking semaglutide, which I think is what Ozempic is too, is
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's
semaglutide.
just
But
like
there's
the,
Gotcha.
it's like the
tirzepatide.
overarching name.
Yeah, Ozempic is the brand.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then there's Manjaro, which is another brand, Wegovy. It's all essentially the same thing. It's all a GLP-1. But yeah, there's different compounds.
Dude, you can
So I
get
was
them
taking
sent to your
semaglutide.
door.
I've heard that the strongest one is the tirzepatide. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Boys, this is Tristan, by the way.
Oh, what's going on?
He's
Tristan,
he's
what's up?
He's producing our podcast. We went to high school together. He's a goat.
We
USA cyclist, dude. Just a fucking dog.
Let's go.
So yeah, I'm not doing testosterone on the WADA protocol when I have WADA showing up at my house still. I'm not hopping on trend probably.
Wada's gonna have you tested after this fucking podcast, dude.
Hell yeah.
not yet.
Not
Might
yet.
find
Not
some
yet.
elevated levels just from participating, actually. You know?
Will, what are you eating, dude?
Leftover
Ozempic.
taco meat. And I actually hate when people do this, but this is the only thing I had in my house, so that's what I'm eating.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? You hate when people do what?
I hate when people like have their food, their lunch that's the leftover in a container like this, and they're like flaunting it around to show they're like eating healthier. I just hate when people do that. I think it's really annoying. And
Why?
it's just obnoxious, but I have nothing else. It's either this or a shake. So
Is it worse than a gallon of water at the gym or no?
yeah, I would say so. That doesn't bother me, I guess, the gallon of water.
Wait. So Ziploc, like, how else do you eat your food? How else do you eat your leftovers? Like, I feel like that's just kind of like a normal gym bro thing.
Oh, no, I'm saying like it annoys me. So like everyone knows I'm not in strength and conditioning anymore, but like the other strength and conditioning coaches or just like sport coaches would walk around with like their Tupperware of food and they'd eat it. I don't know. To me, it was like some sort of virtue signal to like show that, hey, look, I planned my lunch today. This is why I'm eating healthy. You know what I mean? That's just the
Yeah.
vibe I got from it.
No, it's the head cow is always grazing.
The what?
Yes.
The head cow is always
grazing.
If you're eating, if you're chewing something,
You're
you're
the
better
head
than
cow.
everyone else that's not.
Yeah.
Jake, how many times at Youngstown were you eating during your session?
Oh, not often actually.
Really?
Not often. No, no, I never really did. I fasted a lot. I still do, but no, I didn't really. I wasn't lazy. Like when I had sessions, I was like really paid a lot of attention, and I never would like leave or do anything casual, which probably led to my burnout, quote unquote. It was just like if I had 10 hours, like I'm gonna be on the floor for 10 hours and I'm not gonna be working on my computer or something else while someone's lifting, you know. I'm gonna be helping them, even if they don't need it. But
Tim, what's the most amount of hours you spend on the floor right now? Because you're probably the most.
Um,
Like, do you have any
let's see.
crazy days where it's still like 8 hours on the
Yeah,
floor?
I do. It's seasonal though. So like it's that time of year, but like as I get into summer and I get like the mix of like the college football guys and their dead period in May plus the NFL offseason guys and then like all the high school kids that are getting out of school, I'll have like my Mondays and Thursdays will be like 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. and I'll have like no break. You know, I'll order Uber Eats and just eat
What was that
during
place we ate at?
sessions.
That place was fucking fire. The place we ordered in.
Was it we ordered in? It wasn't Jew Boy Burgers, was it?
No, you told me to go there too. Jew Boy was fucking amazing. That place was
Holy
good.
shit. Yeah, no, you know, I didn't make that up. Yeah, it's not like a nickname I made up. That's the real name
No,
of the burger place.
I had to
It's
tell my
Jew
whole
Boy.
softball team. I'm like, hey, we're going to Jew Boy today. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you? I'm like, no, he told me it was a good restaurant.
And it slaps, dude.
And
It's
it
insane.
hit
Yeah.
different.
Yes. No, I don't remember where we ordered from. Maybe it was Hawaiian Bros or
Yeah, I thought it was some like,
oh, I know what it was. It was Picnic.
what's that?
Was it Picnic?
What kind of food is picnic?
It's like kind of healthy, but it's like chicken tenders and like potatoes and
Yeah, it was semi like it came in like Tupperware, kinda like fancy Tupperware, but that shit was
Fuck,
smack.
I
But I was
don't
just
know,
wondering,
dude.
you were talking about like the 8 hours on the floor. I was thinking back to that, like when I was at St. Thomas, it was fucking like 6 in the morning until 6 at night, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
If I had to go back to that schedule, there's no way I would make it. I don't understand how I was ripping 10 hours on the floor straight.
I feel like it's one of those things like when you're doing it and you're in it and like you just kind of it's like you just becomes your existence and like you're miserable, but you don't even know how miserable you are. Even though you think about driving into like a concrete post on the way
Leaving
home,
your
but you're
car
not
on
like
in the
really gonna
garage.
do it, you know? But then like I feel like when you get away from it and then you have to go back to it, that's when it's like Oh no, yeah, I'd rather like eat glass than fucking do another dynamic warm up today, you know?
No. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I forgot about my first year. My first year, we had this like set warm-up list, and I forgot by like the sixth section watching them run through the same fucking warm-up every day. Oh my God. That was like nails on a chalkboard, bro. Like I needed to do something to distract myself during that time.
Yeah, I've stopped caring. Especially with like the athletes that like know me and like know me well. They'll show up and I'll be like, do the warm up. And they'll be like, all right. And like we'll kind of talk and I will literally just do Instagram stuff. I'll answer DMs. And like I used to like be like, oh, like, if you're doing that stuff, like you don't care and you need to be more locked in. It's like now that I know it's like, no, like Lily does not need me to watch her A skip. She doesn't. Like, if she's not feeling well, she'll tell me, Like, I'm going to respond, like, oh, hypertrophy clusters just posted something. Like, let's like that and comment,
Let's comment there.
Jake, I don't know how you come up with that shit. It
Incredible.
is so funny. It is the funniest thing of my day every day.
My
Yeah, I
Jake,
mean
did
some
you
some of them
delete my
are.
comment? Did you
What's it?
delete my comment on your viral post?
No, I've never deleted comments. So what was it?
I wonder if it got reported or something because I noticed I
Oh,
stopped getting notifications for it because Jake had a post go viral.
was that the Achilles
And
snapping one?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
and like I just to be a dick, like I didn't, I don't even remember what I said. What did I say, Jake? What did I
It
say?
was it was just like colorful
Oh,
language
imagine
about.
blaming a little girl for your own Achilles eviscerating. And then I did that from my podcast page, and then my personal page. I was like, I wish you'd torn both, and people got so upset, dude.
Yeah, that probably helped to
Like I
go
didn't,
viral.
yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of felt bad because the actual guy who tore it came on IG and messaged me like, "Hey, this was," because I got it off YouTube, and I tagged the YouTube account, but he had an Instagram, so he was like coming back on some of the comments, um, and he was trying to see if he could get something from it, like have a not in a bad way. It was like, can we do a fundraising
Collab.
to have me go and do the warped wall again or something? And I
The
kind of was like,
redemption.
I don't know how to make money off something that's viral. Like I just sell my programs and that's what I do. So I don't know how to do that, but I would not do the warped wall again. Um, yeah.
Stay away from that shit. But no, Jake, my favorite thing about your memes, like, it needs to be studied, the psychological, like, training you have done to your population.
Yes.
Like, their replies. I just set up the next meme. Like, it's all just one fucking walking bit that everybody on your page is a part of. And if
Oh
they're
yeah.
not,
Okay.
they just
Yeah.
get bullied like a motherfucker.
Yeah, Jake's
Yeah.
got an army behind him.
He has an
He
Well, the
army.
does.
army, the army is like people will be there for like a few months and then they go away and then they might,
Mhm.
but it's like there's always new people coming that are supporting. Uh,
Oh, it's so
yeah.
funny.
We're live. We got Angus. Angus is gonna come on. He's gonna wake up at 5 a.m. He's gonna come on in like 10 minutes. We got
Let's go.
Clifton. Cliff's gonna come on, and we got Welty who's gonna come on. Those three said yes. Poppy had to I can't remember what he said he had to do. He had to do something, but he wasn't able to make it because of the timing, and then Locken had to teach. So but we got three slabs of beef coming on whenever we want them. You just give me the green light.
When was
What
the
an
Incredible.
last
absolute
one?
shit
Was it
show.
last winter we did this?
I think so. It
Yeah.
was like a year ago.
What did we talk about?
What grinded our gears?
Oh yeah.
That was actually a good one. I do recall listening to that.
I
Everybody,
don't remember what I said, dude.
I know, dude. Once I do one of these, like I never go back and listen because I'm like, there's no way. Like I
Do
do
you
not
guys
want to.
listen to your podcast? Do you
Never.
guys listen to Never? That's what I thought. I can't. I assumed as much,
I
but
listen to mine. I listen to mine because I make
you
notes.
do
Yeah.
to take
Um.
to because you actually try to get better and improve.
Well.
Fucking
It's
nerd.
it's kind of a specific, like the tendon subject. If it's going to be a
Yeah.
strength, if it's going to be a strength show where they're just rehashing everything, that's going to bore me to tears to listen to. But like some of the tendon ones, I got to listen to many times over, and I need to go back and listen to old ones even like 10 years ago. I'll pick up something, but um, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, listening over would be tough. You hear a lot of the people once, and that's enough.
Yeah.
That is sometimes on the podcast. You're like, yeah, this one's never getting listened to and should never be downloaded. This is tough. Jake, I do have to check in on you. I am sent your nature videos pretty much once a week, with people checking in to see if you're okay. So,
Really?
It's my favorite thing. I love it more than the clusters page,
it's so
honestly.
fucking funny.
Well,
The
now they're
I
animals.
die
gone
every
because
time, and but everybody thinks you're like going fucking insane in the woods right now. I've gotten so
oh,
many messages asking about
He's
is
happier
Jake
than all of
okay?
us.
well, no, it's over now. It ended on Sunday. Deer hunting ended.
Oh,
Uh,
Are you
Oh,
in
Sunday.
Wisconsin right
So
now?
what's that?
Are you in Wisconsin right now?
Yeah, yeah. So it was like I do cross. My dad has a crossbow, and he had a hand injury when I grew up. He did sheet metal. His hand got like cut halfway off almost, and
fuck.
um, so like he had a lot of pain and depression and a lot of issues his whole life from it. But anyways, his hand gets really cold, so he doesn't hunt when it's really late in the year. So I take his crossbow and I do a lot of the hunting and like
wait, you
late
crossbow hunt?
yeah late November,
Oh,
December.
I didn't know
That's how I
that.
got all
That's
the
sick.
deer was crossbow.
Oh, I've never
Yeah,
shot a crossbow.
it's just like a gun. The issue is that any bow is they don't do as much damage as like a rifle. So I hit a couple deer this year that I never found. I
they just
tracked
got a
them.
fucking arrow stuck in them.
Well, they
The
they
whole
usually come
woods, they're
out.
just fucking The Walking Dead out there.
Well, they usually come out, but like if you just hit one lung, a lot of them can live one lung. If you shoot a rifle, you usually get both lungs, like the vital organs or the heart. Um, so yeah, a couple, and you feel bad. I always feel bad when that happens because you would want them to have a quick death. Um, but yeah, no, it's been good. But now it's over, and I that's all I did for the last like 3 months. And I'm excited that it's over because I got pretty obsessive. That's all I needed to do, and I felt guilty if I wasn't in the woods. Pretty much any second for the last 3 months, I felt guilty if I wasn't out there. But yeah, now it's over. We all gotta go on a hunt at some point, huh? All the
That would
meatheads.
be great.
And I would like to do an elk. I gotta learn how to do elk because you can get like hundreds
Fuck.
of pounds of meat.
Dude,
Yes.
Um,
Jake, that deer heart that I ate, I don't know what I did to it, but it wasn't as good as I was expecting. I just grilled it. Just straight up grilled
You
it.
grilled it.
have you had it before?
Incredible.
No, it was the first time. It was okay. I'll eat it again, but I don't know. For some reason I had it in my mind it was going to be a lot better than it
So who
was.
so who gave it to you?
My brother-in-law.
And it was a buck or what was it?
Human.
It was deer heart. I mean, buck
Like
maybe. Yeah. I
okay, I
don't
don't
know.
know. I just was thinking I had one this year too. I think it was an 8 pointer and it wasn't very good. Like an older deer. The bucks don't taste as good as the does, and then the little ones taste the best, but you'd hardly get any meat.
Yeah.
So maybe it was an older deer, but the heart tastes like a muscle meat, but it's like you have a lot of those tendons in there and like fat. I eat the heart, but it's not like a prized piece of meat that you want to enjoy eating, like the loins or something, you know?
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting.
It's
It
just
just
Yeah.
wasn't.
ceremonial.
It just wasn't.
It can be really gamey. It can be a really
Right.
gamey, bad
Yeah.
taste, but whatever. It feels for me. You kill a deer, you pull the heart out, and you cook the heart. Like there's not many things that are comparable to that.
Incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever pulled the heart out of a deer, not gonna lie. I remember I haven't shot a deer since I've been like 14 or 15. I think I was like 15 when I shot one, but I don't remember pulling out the heart. We skinned it and everything, but I don't remember like ripping it out in that like caveman fashion.
Yeah, I reach to the rib cage and the lungs. I'm good at getting I get both lungs usually, so like the lungs are just deflated and they're like nothing. Like this last year, I got the lungs were like gone basically. And there's just a little heart. It was a little deer, but there's just a little heart you pull out. And
Yeah, we were in like South Dakota and North Dakota, and I was like again 14 or 15. They handed me my gun. This is like my second time ever shooting, and there was like they're like rats there. Like there was like hundreds of them. And they just started like shooting at these fucking deer running across. I had no idea if I got one. We just walked up to it, and then there was a dead deer on the ground. I was like, all right, that works. We got
Nice.
it. Absolutely shit. So it was not. There was no way it was a perfect lung shot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna learn elk. I gotta find some I have some friends who do it and I need to go follow them on a few hunts and see how this goes. And it's a really low success rate. So part of hunting is if you take people out, I never feel good about taking I do take friends out, but if they don't see anything or if they don't have success and you spent many days, it does really suck. Um, and that might be what the elk is like, but at least it's the same thing. You know, people go hiking in the woods for like 10 miles. Like we would just go hiking for many miles, and some people are happy just hiking. We would probably be miserable because we wouldn't get an elk. But it's like it's the same thing as hiking. We're just have this
You happen to see
expectation
an elk, kill that
that isn't
motherfucker.
fulfilled.
Will,
But yeah,
how's it been?
we would get so much meat, you know. We would get so much meat, and then a lot of it's packing it out and carrying it back, which is difficult. But if you got a lot of people, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, one of my athletes, they just shot one last year and they said it took them 4 trips. It was like four like 10-mile hikes in the wilderness to like pack everything out. I was like, that is insane.
Yeah. And then you're usually around grizzly bears and mountain lions and some things that are dangerous. So you got a bunch of meatheads around you with high testosterone, you know, I'll have some confidence that we'll be good.
Yeah, I need an excuse to buy another gun for sure.
Hey, you got that? He's got his piece on his nightstand right here. Uh,
Dude, stay strapped out here.
Will, how's the professor life been?
See, that's why I don't have much time right now because I procrastinated over break. Semester starts again on Monday. I got to get all my classes like prepared. I don't know, man. It's a way different thing. I mean, I get paid more now. Um, and then I like the schedule's a lot better. I'm never on campus at 5 in the morning anymore, ever. I'll never have to be on campus before 8 a.m. And I'll never have to be on campus after like 4 p.m. And most days I'm not there that early and there that late anyways. But it's just different. It's just so much more computer work. Um, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I kind of regret taking the job. It's just a different environment, different vibe, but I guess I make more money and I have like more convenient hours of operation, I guess, but
Have you had to fail a kid yet?
I don't think I had any fails. I've had some D's,
This is
but
like idiot.
I don't do any extra credit for anybody. It's like when a student doesn't perform well in an assignment or stacks up bad quiz after bad quiz after bad quiz, and they come to me at the end of the semester and they're like, "Hey, I have this 78. What can I do to like bring up my 78 to an 80 for a B?" I'm like, "Nothing. You had like what? What are you talking about? I'm not just giving you free points. Like what?
Yeah.
That's like imagine if I went to my employer and I was like, yeah, I got some extra bills that I got property taxes that are due in next month. Could I just like get a little bit more incomes? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not giving you that shit. Don't, no.
Dude, that's where you got to get
Um,
them like writing out, doing your computer work for like Haas 2.0 or something like that. Get them to type up the boring shit.
dude, it's so annoying. Like, and I tell them at the beginning of the semester, you're gonna get, you're gonna get opportunities for points in this assignment, in this quiz, in this test. I don't do extra credit. Don't email me 2 days before grades are due asking for extra credit. I'm not gonna give it to you. Don't do it. So that's
Would you
annoying.
say your class is hard?
No, I mean the course content is just it's NSCA stuff. Because that's my role is to be like the liaison of for the NSCA to the kinesiology department in a way. So all of the classes I teach are it's just essentially preparing students for the CSCS. The CSCS is not hard. Um, but I'm not like an easy grader. Like, you have to understand the material though too, you know? So, and I get a lot of freedom to kind of interject my own opinions into the course content too. As long as I just follow the framework and the general curriculum, it's fine. But um yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Um,
Is there
yeah,
anything that
part of me wishes
you
I
have to
didn't leave
teach?
college S&C, but might be able to get back in it if I want at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it.
Are we all gonna meet up at the at SCA and is it in New Orleans?
Yeah, because I have to maintain my
Oh, you have to
accreditation.
go. You guys
So I
going?
have to
Let's
go.
go. Let's hit LA
Yep, so I'll be
Fitness and
there.
play ball again.
Exactly. Yep. Let's
Tim?
go
Is there
twice this
stuff
time.
Will, is there stuff you have to teach where you're like, fuck this, and you just kind of like, you're like, here's what it says, but here's
Yeah, what
what
do you
I
have to go
actually
off
think.
script?
There's some of that, but like I know how to do it in a way where I'm not just like abandoning what the CSCS curriculum says. Like there's this one graph in the CSCS textbook, and it's like the rep ranges for strength and power, the rep ranges for hypertrophy,
Yep.
rep ranges for muscular endurance. I have to like present that, but then I'll also say like these are kind of made up and not 100%. They're not absolute. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
thought
there's
they got,
some
I thought
things.
they did
There's
away
some
with
things that
that.
I wish I didn't have to talk about, but I do. But yeah.
But that
They still go.
this is like your first year too, right?
Yeah, I'm going on semester number 2 starting
Bro,
next week.
year 5, you're just gonna be like put
I
up
was about
Haas
to say that.
2.0.
Year
He's
five,
like, just fucking run this program.
he's on
Shut
trend
up.
at this point, just fucking juice to the gills,
Yeah, he's gonna be
pissed.
roided out at that point. Just,
Some fucking cocksucker's already like, I need extra credit. He's like, I've had enough.
Could we all pass the final?
Yeah, if you have your CSC, if you know the CSCS, yeah,
Do it
you'll be fine
live.
in that
Make
class.
Austin do it live.
dude, there's no way. There's no way.
Do you still have your CSCS, Austin, or do you get
Yeah,
rid of it?
yeah. Unfortunately, I do.
Are you gonna renew it when like 2026 or whenever it's due next?
There's no way.
No.
I haven't done any of the accredited, like, unless you count a podcast as accreditation. How many CEUs is this going to count for?
Yeah.
But no, absolutely not. I
Tim,
don't
do
need
you
it.
still have it?
I don't
Did you just
know.
ask me?
Either one of you, I guess. Yeah.
I just got it.
No,
Yeah, just got
just got
his.
it. Yeah.
Never had it,
You
boys.
never got it?
Oh.
No,
Legend.
never.
Tim has zero education at all in this field.
Zero. I'm not qualified to talk about a fucking thing, dude. I'm
Yeah.
not. I couldn't get. I could not get a college job anywhere unless Will was hiring me, like based on my my education level. I'm just a fucking bum.
You skipped the college level, just went straight to the pro level. That's kind of the move, though. That's kind of a baller move right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Tim, you have
Yeah.
a better job. You have a better job than most college SNCs.
100%,
No
bro.
question.
I know. The SCS boys seething right now, dude.
Yeah, and all you had to do was slide in someone's DMs, right?
Slide in someone's DMs and just not be an idiot.
Wait, whose DMs did you slide in?
Yeah, so all right, I was working at Lifetime. I was training some like high school
Love
and
Jake, I
collegiate
got you.
athletes. And but like nothing, not anywhere close to the scale I'm doing now. It was mostly Gen Pop. And someone that had worked at Lifetime put this like cryptic thing on Instagram, like they were opening a gym, and that was Jeremy Hills. And he opened Collective, but he said like soon or something. And I knew right away, I was like, this motherfucker is opening the gym. And he trained a bunch of NFL athletes here in Austin. He played at Texas. And I sent him a DM. I just said, I want in. And he was like, I'll call you tomorrow. And we had a 30-minute phone call. He was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to work with the pro guys. He was like, all right, come meet with me. And in the interview, he was like, all right, like, what are your plans? What do you want to do? And I was just like, I want your fucking job. And he was like, okay, well, and it was like kind of like, just like, I don't know, like I got really lucky. Like I fucking shot my shot, and he was at a place where he was like trying to move out of that and become like more entrepreneurial, run a gym, open a fucking wine bar, all this other shit he's got going on. And I was like, fuck all that shit. I want to work with the best athletes, And so I took over his NFL program. And then from there, it was like, there's nowhere else in Austin for athletes to train, really. So like, it was like this perfect storm. Now I'm getting all these high school and like local college athletes. And then like through the crucible of experience of like making fucking mistakes and trying to learn as much as I can, like fast forward 4 fucking years, dude. Crazy.
Dude, who better to learn on than and experiment on than NFL athletes? Like, that's the perfect.
100%. Well, I started with like middle school and high school athletes for
Okay,
years.
okay.
Because that's all I could get, dude. Like no fucking pro guy is gonna like. I've got 800 followers on Instagram. I never played college sports. I have no education. I just love athletic training and I'm a fucking nerd, so it's all I consume in my free time. But like no one within their right mind who is getting paid millions of dollars is gonna like be like, yeah, I'll work with you, you know? So like, but I did learn and like at that, oh shit, Nathan's in the house.
Wait, Welty
Um,
join?
yeah. But yeah, like
Welty.
that's where I learned, dude. And then like all those years of working with high school and middle school kids, like and college kids, it paid off.
Fuck yeah. Will, how do you find people in North Dakota to come train with you?
What do you mean?
Like,
I don't train with anybody really.
no, your high school kids.
Oh, Instagram. Or like I'm kind of lucky. I guess I shouldn't say lucky, but I'm pretty fortunate because I went to school here. I played at UND, so I'm still in the same community. And humble brag, I guess, I was like an all-American football player at UND. So like I have kind of a name in the
Yeah.
community here. So
Is
uh,
UND football big in the community? Like it's a big deal to be good at it. Like they know.
here and there, I guess.
The only experience I have of Fargo is like my dad like a sprinkler my dad owns a sprinkler company and we go up there and like blow out sprinklers and it was like fucking felt like the middle of nowhere. Like nobody was ever there.
Yeah, we're in Grand Forks. NDSU's Fargo.
Okay.
So we're a smaller town than Fargo. We're an hour north of Fargo. Um, but it's just
Jesus.
Instagram. Like there's a lot of people in the community who know me just from my time at UND, and then I had that short stint in the NFL. And then working with UND athletics, that kind of helped keep my name around, I guess, a little bit. And
Are you the
so,
most famous person in your city?
Oh, that's a good question.
oh no, do you know the
Really?
Lamoureux twins?
No.
No, the
I mean, they're
Lannisters.
female hockey players. They were like Olympic gold medalists.
Oh, no
Um,
way.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like, because UND hockey is like the Alabama football of hockey. So, like, a bunch of NHL players come back for the summer and stuff, train at like a Sanford Power here. Um, I don't know why I'm talking about that. No, I'm not the most like well-known person in the city, but
Unlike Welty. Welty is local firefighter, the most well-known local firefighter. Welty, what's up, dude?
How we doing?
Pretty dandy. How's the firefighter life treating you, dude?
Great,
Are you in your
great.
storage closet right now?
No, the boys are working out. So like Joe, my intern from the summer, he's back for winter break. A couple of Lockins buddies that are still in town. We were playing spike ball while I was waiting for you to text me the link. So I lost in 7 game series. Tough day. Tough day.
Tough luck. Hey,
How are you so bad at spike ball still?
Shut up. Hey, you got more ceiling to do monster smash here now, Jake. All kinds of room.
Oh, Monster Smash. That's when you hit the ball really hard.
That's all you do. It's
I'd
your
have never
only.
heard of the term Monster Smash until now, but yeah.
the Tuura smash. Hey, Welty, is what's the certified playground for the spike ball? Is it in the hockey arena or is it on the turf?
We can do either spot.
I know what has been working. What's been the move?
Well, when I play you, I have to go in the hockey arena because you can't figure out the walls over there. Um, Otherwise, when Locken was here, we just played on the turf and hopefully we don't break a fan. Today, Matt threw the spike ball at the mirror and I got really scared because the owner of the company was standing right there.
Um, did Jake ever show up? You said he was going to show up.
No, he hasn't
Doesn't
yet.
doesn't
Like
look
not.
like he's at velocity right now.
No, I plan. Well, the hunting is done, so I'm gonna come to the cities. I need to film. So Bobby White is having me write a good knee program for him for his market of high school of dumb high school kids, and I gotta film. I gotta film some stuff, and Welty's gonna be my help.
Welty,
Welty's
can
housing
you
you.
what was the text messages he sent you?
Oh, let me pull it up.
It was so funny. Clifton, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Meathead Round Table.
Who just
Hello.
joined? Oh,
We need a whole picture of this. We need Angus to come now. I think Angus is our last one, and then we got the full squad.
It's so early in Australia.
I know. He said it's 5 a.m. He said he's gonna wake up, set his alarm and wake up. It'll be so funny.
I messaged Jake saying, "Hey, when are you coming by this week?" Because he said hunting's done Sunday. He's like midweek. Stop by. I was like, stop by the new spot. And then he goes, need help filming. One message. Writing program for Bobby White. One message. Need paying program. That's it.
It's all business.
Strictly business as well. Cliff, dude, what's up?
Not much, man. Just jumping in this little roundtable between other phone calls with nerdier people.
Dude, what do you think about the state of the field currently? What do you got for us?
Are you talking about the fitness field?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, any field, dude. We can get Will riled up here. We can get Will going here. That'd be good.
I think it's the same old shit, man. Honestly, I straddle I believe a completely different portion of the industry than most of you guys on the call, where I'm much more a general fitness consumer, like 48-year-old Sally that hasn't worked out in 2 decades. And so a lot of the way that I'm looking at training, it's not that it differs, it's just that the application and the people I'm talking to and about are completely different than, you guys training actual athletes. And so there's a completely different filter there.
What do you think
So
about those long ninja? What are they called, Jake? What's the run up
Oh, the
thing?
warped wall. Yeah.
Warped wall. What do you think about the warped wall for untrained athletes?
so I'm actually pretty well versed in the warp wall because my wife competes on American Ninja Warrior.
Dude,
And
that's right.
Wait, she's on the TV show?
yeah, she's been on it a couple times.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So
Bro, she's
I'm
way cooler than you.
she's much, I
Jake.
could go get her. She's
Yeah,
significantly
can we get her on?
yeah. And I need some actual muscle. Um, I'm consistently weekly terrified of an Achilles situation because of the ninja decision making. Specifically because post pregnancy, she was on whatever Jake will know the name of the class of antibiotics that result, especially in ladies, in increased occurrences of Achilles, both tendonitis and full ruptures. And post her second pregnancy, she had both sides of the Achilles just pissy and bitchy for a long ass time and has been doing David Gray's rehab protocol and trying to stay on top of it. And it's just a continual thing here 4 years later. It's less, but yeah, it's just poison.
The medication just like fucking deteriorates it, or what happens there? I've never heard of that.
It's fluoroquinolone. It's the antibiotic fluoroquinolone, which is not prescribed that often, but it's like toxic for your tendon cells. The tendon cells are the things that are maintaining the tendon. The cells are maintaining all of your tissues, but the tendon cells, you don't have too many of them. It's bad for those, so it's bad for the collagen. It's just really bad for everything. But it's not like everyone's going to have an adverse response, but the people that do, bad tendon pain, tendon ruptures, and it sticks with you. It can stick with you for months and years afterwards, even if you stop taking it. So the thing is, like with an athlete that would need an antibiotic, if it is a fluoroquinolone, the person prescribing should kind of check if they're an active person or not, because you could have some serious tendon issues.
What's the
Yeah, so
benefit of it over anything else?
I'm not sure. Certain antibiotics are good for certain things, and maybe Clifton could say.
in this instance, my wife is allergic to the typical antibiotics. Every time you go to the doctor, what's the main antibiotic class? They'll
Prednisone.
ask
Or not
prednisone.
prednisone.
Yeah, I think
Penicillin.
it's penicillin, right? So she's
Penicillin.
allergic to penicillin. So therefore, it's a different antibiotic class. Unfortunately, it's the fluorocin class. And they didn't say shit to her about like, hey, this might be problematic for tendons. And we had to figure that out at a different point. Honestly, I may have heard of this first, Jake, on one of your podcasts at some point with one of your guests mentioning it. And then I looked into it, was like, this is some bullshit.
Wait, when her Achilles blew up, did you know it was related to the medication, or was it just like, what the fuck's happening?
So it didn't really blow up. It was just like chronic inflamed pissiness, and we didn't really know. And the timing, so it was either I was listening to stuff about Achilles that Jake had on, and maybe that was pre Jake flirting with Achilles stuff, and was going steady with patella only. but some tendon nerd was on your show and mentioned it, and I was like, oh, gotta look into this. This sounds like what it is. The timing is just perfect.
We you guys missed Welty and Cliff. You guys missed the original conversation that we started with, and it's when are you guys gonna hop on some testosterone or HGH with us? We all went around and set our start dates. So Welty, when are you? Tristan already started, so he's gonna be our test dummy, and Wada if you want to check him out. But Welty, are you currently looking into it?
I would say in the next 6 years, we'll go with that.
6 year, dude, you're a firefighter. It's like pushed. Don't they have it everywhere?
Yeah, you
Are you
need to save
committing to it,
lives.
Welty?
What was that?
Are you committing to it?
The firefighting or the test?
No, taking the
You
test.
better commit. My house burns and I got non-steroid Welty coming to save me. I
Yeah,
swear to God.
a non-committal, non-steroided Welty.
Yeah. A question mark volunteer firefighter without steroids? What the fuck?
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about it. I used to sell pro hormones like 4 years ago at a supplement store. It's
Do you
about
take any? You ever sniff any?
I, I sniffed it, yeah. Uh, no, I did sell a lot of them for a lot of money, but we upsold those a fuck ton, like by like $80
Did they work?
for some, yeah. But I really think it was just because they had to eat more. I should have took them. I would have got them for like $10. I don't know why I did.
You should have, bro. Lost cause. Lost time. But what about you? Dude, when we hopping on?
Ah, man, it's never soon enough. I think that I'm gonna try out some of the different peptides like
Oh, you go peptide route
sermorelin, and
first.
yeah, I'm basically, it's like I'm gonna ease it just the tip first. I'm gonna get comfortable with
Mm.
those,
Yep, I like that.
see if I
Yep,
like
soaking,
it, and then
soaking. I heard about that the other day. Yep.
yeah, just try that out.
Try that out. Oh, who do we got here? Wait, what? Who is this? Oh,
I
Welty
think
just Welty, bro.
Blue
Yes,
screen, who's this?
Welty popping in and out. Jimmy, you on you doing some peptides right now? What was
Not so I ran this
I know
for like
Tristan is, but
6 months recently. I ran BPC, and not like oral, like it was subcutaneous from a pharmacy. Is very legit, and I gotta tell you, guys, felt no fucking different. Not a goddamn thing felt different. Don't. But here's the thing: it's not like, Austin, you alluded to sniffing pro hormones. It's not like taking like, a drug or something so potent where it's like in like a day or two, you're like, oh fuck, like there's starting to become like tangible evidence that there's change occurring. It's not like that. At least it wasn't for me. And I took them for 6 months and didn't notice anything in terms of like my recoverability or like my tendons feeling better or connective tissue or my skin, all of the things that are supposed to be associated with BPC 157. And it was BPC and TB 400 blend, actually. There were no strength gains, there was just nothing tangible that I could tell you. Now, does that mean that there wasn't an impact and that it was just subtle and like over a long period of time? So it's like, I didn't really notice it, perhaps, but certainly nothing that I could put my finger on where I was like, yeah, this definitely improved because I was doing that. And I also said it because once I stopped taking it, I felt no fucking different. Like there was no, you know what I mean? Like with something like that, that's more of a slow burn. When you remove it, that's probably going to be your opportunity where you can actually start to infer like whether or not there was some things happening underneath the hood that you like maybe you weren't day to day aware of, and I just didn't feel that. But then there are also people I've spoken to who have like had like an Achilles injury or something like that, and they inject directly into the site, and it like is like the only thing that's helped. So I will say I got stem cells done 2 weeks ago in my shoulder, boys. Holy fuck, my shoulder has not felt this good in 3 years. Absolutely insane how well that worked. It
interesting.
was nuts. And like they used an ultrasound. I get to like, he's like rotating my humerus. He's like, okay, there's your subscapularis. And like I can see the tendon. And on the live screen, I see the needle go into my
Ugh,
shoulder,
I
go
wouldn't like
into
that.
the tendon, dude. and then he hits the plunger, and the tendons would swell up with the stem cells. And I'm just like, I was loving it, you know? And I was sore for a couple days, and I shit you not, I haven't done an upper body workout in many moons because my shoulder just, it was fucked. And
Was
I could
our
like,
bench press workout the last time you touched a bench?
that was the heaviest weight I've done in 2 years. Because my shoulder, I was like, fuck it.
I didn't even know your
like,
shoulder was fucked. I'm like, we're 1 rep max.
Well, yeah, what am I going to do? Fucking complain about it every time I'm supposed to work out with
shit.
someone?
He's like, fuck yeah, let's
it's
go.
just like, my fucking shoulder, it's like, yeah, everybody's shoulder hurts, you know? So anyway, but yeah, absolute game changer. Very expensive. But so far, like that is something where it's been fucking noticeable, big time.
Dude, I've done 3 cycles of BPC, and every time I've noticed a massive difference, and I only take it orally. But I should say this, only on the knee, skin, and like leanness. My elbow, it hasn't done shit for my elbow at all. Like, and that's why I took it the last time, and it did nothing for the elbow. But my knee, it is every time my knee is like starting to catch, I will take it, and I feel way different. And the skin and the leanness, those are the two that are super weird when I take BPC. It's like massive difference.
I've read that for the elbow, if you take the oral as a suppository, it actually is more useful. Just try that out.
Hell yeah.
Just pump it in there.
Yeah.
You got to boof it.
Bro, I think Angus is fucking sleeping on us, not gonna lie. What a bump.
Tim, you need to write that. So like BPC and TB, well, you said TB 400, it's TB 500. So did you get that
Yeah.
wrong?
Sorry, yeah.
You need to write a thread on Twitter about your experience because all the ones you find are people saying it makes you like Wolverine. And it's only the private messages I get where people are like, did BPC, didn't do anything. And those are never broadcast publicly. So people have this perception that it's going to work for 100% of people 100% of the time.
Well,
Dude.
maybe I will do that. I'll do a nice Instagram post, but I'll make sure I send it to you first so I don't say anything fucking retarded like TV 400 instead of 500. Yeah.
Jake proofread it. But I've heard the same thing, like everything I've heard about every time I'm on my algorithm for Twitter, every time I see stem cells, everybody's shitting on stem cells. Like saying they don't do anything. And every time I see BPC, it's like it's the world's greatest thing ever. I've never done stem cells, but every time I see it on Twitter, people are just shitting on it, saying it doesn't do anything. And now you're saying it does something.
Well, Tim, what was was it shoulder tendon issue or what was it?
Yes. So I have an arthritic shoulder. I've got some debris in there. And then I believe it's my subscap that has chronic acute tendonitis. That was the MRI result. But like there was like a lot of the way it was explained to me and what I saw in the MRI was just like my shoulder was in shambles. Like there was, you could clearly see arthritis and just like the cartilage on both the humeral head and the, Jake, help me out here. The actual socket itself. That's not the, actual term, but
Will's final.
no. But like you could see, deterioration, and it should be noted, I didn't use my own stem cells. So typically the process is they'll harvest your own stem cells. So you get a big needle into your hip. They'll extract marrow. There's this process where they spin the marrow, and essentially you're left at the end of this process with blank stem cells. That process is like long and arduous, and like you have to go under for both. It would have taken like 8 hours. And I was like, well, what's my other option? He was like, umbilical stem cells. And I was like, isn't that like not federally legal? Like and this is, I'm not kidding. My doctor goes, listen, I mean, look, I can get them. And right then, and I was like, I didn't even care. I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's how you know you got a goat right there.
I'm like, I'm in the right place. So he got them overnighted from a pharmacy in Guadalajara. And
we're going to have to cut this whole section out, bro. He's going to have the cartel coming.
This is getting highlighted. It's going to be the highlight part.
So Mexican stem cells from some mother-baby connection, umbilical stem cells. I got 100 million fresh off the fucking umbilical cord, boys. Like literally just squeezed out that night. into my shoulder within 24 hours, and it's been miraculous. Swear to God.
Oh, you're like one of those Hollywood actors.
I do feel pretty privileged
Yeah.
that I have had the opportunity to do that.
That's a South Park episode right there.
Yes, like sucking the fetus. Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
All right, we're going to our first Q&A question here. We got a bunch of them. Energy drinks / pre-workouts for the round table. What are your best flavors and products? Will, let's start with you. Get a plug in there, dude. Let's go. Let's get a plug here.
Do I have to plug Legion? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, dude. Why not? Make
Legion
some money.
code Haas, 20% off.
Haas 20%.
Actually, have you guys ever had Gorilla Mind energy drinks?
Negative.
Yes, I like those.
Black cherry vanilla, Gorilla Mind energy drinks. They're so expensive, so I get them like once a year. But I just finished my last one today. It's right here. But I don't have the black cherry vanilla. This is Berry Burst.
Dude,
This
those
one's
are
good. They're
fire,
all
though.
good.
They're like $6 a can, though.
So expensive, dude.
Yeah.
So I always wait till like the Black Friday sale and it's like 30% off. But yeah, that's the best tasting energy drink for me right now is the Gorilla Mind.
Yeah, Cliff, are you still young enough to take pre-workout, or is that?
No, I gave that shit up a long time ago. I just drink coffee, and ever since 2021, after a certain second dose of something, if I have too much caffeine and I work out, I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm poisoned and going to die in the gym. I feel bad for my children.
So you're just ripping a cup of coffee before pre-workout?
Yeah, just one cup of coffee in the morning, man. More than that shit, and I'm like, might die. Actually,
Just one cup all day?
yeah,
Same, Tim?
yeah. It's,
Same, dude. I'm the same way. If I'm
And
caffeine
you
in
have
the morning.
so much free available C4. If I was you, I'd have like 8 a day. I
It's
did
not
have
even
8 a day when
tempting.
I was down there.
Yeah, we have our gym's sponsored by C4, so we have a fridge, and it's just full of like I don't even know the fucking flavors. There's a bunch of different flavors that you can just go and grab. And
I think I owe Collective about $40 for how much
Straight
C4 I drank.
C4 scoops.
But I'm with Clifton. I drink a massive amount of coffee first thing in the morning. But I'm like, if I were to drink something else on top of that later in the day, I don't know if like I've just, it's the anxiety or what, but I feel like I'm going to die. Or maybe it's like the years of drug abuse. I don't know. But something happens where it's like not cool. It's not chill. And then also too, if I even like with the
Paranoid in a
coffee,
corner.
no, just like not like I'm like into like externally like I'm fine, but like internally like bad trip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like also even before like particularly a leg day. So if I'm doing like a heavy leg day or if my rest periods aren't long and I consume a lot of caffeine prior, I feel like I'm going to die. Like it's not, and I don't know at what point in time that happened because it used to be the other way around. Like I would ingest crazy amounts of caffeine, so much like the old Jack 3D, dude, or like fucking C4, like loaded up. But now it's like something shifted. So yeah, I do the non-stim, fucking
Better be Legion. Better be Legion.
It is Legion. Yeah, the non-stim peach, delicious.
I know I'm supposed to say this about Legion, but their stuff tastes good.
It does.
Haas, 20%
It
off.
does. Their protein powders.
Yes.
Welty
I'm gonna drink
agrees.
that.
Welty
I'm gonna
approved.
drink that the rest of my life. The peanut butter fudge protein powder is so good. That's all I have to say.
Not Haas.
What?
What was that, Welty?
Use Locken's code, not Haas.
Oh, yeah, boot him from the
Or coach them up. Use the coach them up code.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, are you guys sponsored too?
Dude, they sponsor everyone in performance now, dude. They would sponsor if you have anything over 2,000 followers and you work in strength and conditioning, Legion will give you supplements. That is what I've concluded. I've had multiple coaches reach out to me like, hey, like Legion reached out to me. I'm like, this isn't special. This means nothing. Because they're not paying. I mean, are they paying you, Will? Because all I got's the discount code. I'm not getting paid anything additionally. And she's like, yeah, we don't like do that. unless like you reach certain parameters like you do. And I was like, I mean, all right, I'll just take the supplements, you
Me and
know?
your next
No, they
sets right
offer a
now are just
salary for
rolling
some
over.
people.
They
I'm
do.
not on I'm not on salary yet, but that's my goal is to get on salary at some point. I'm on salary with Barbell Apparel.
You are.
Hmm.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
a chat.
Chat. Jake, what's your pre-workout energy drink right now?
Well, I made a go back to my memes on the cluster page. It was why do I feel so amazing starter pack, and it's a can of Ghost and 2 milligram nicotine Nicorette. Ghost, the Phase Up is my favorite. It's so hard to find though. Phase Up lemon lime, so hard to find. I had it in Fort
I'm in
Worth when
lime. I thought their phase up was like a blue.
no,
Cenex Grand
it is, but it's a
Forks.
different. It's like I think
Cenex
it's
or Casey's in Grand Forks has it.
yeah, the one in Fort Worth. There was a Speedway in Fort Worth that had a few, so I got like four.
Phase
Uh,
up lemon lime ghost. I'm gonna have to look for this. Hold on.
oh, it's so good. So that's the go-to.
Bro, mine is ghost cit. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just the citrus one.
It's
Okay.
not citrus. It's way better.
Bro, it's the same fucking flavor. I get every single one. I feel
No,
like
it
I get
tastes
it all the
different.
time.
It tastes
Like,
different.
because
Much better.
citrus is always sold out because it's the goated flavor, and then I have to go for the backup, which is that one.
The worst is Swedish Fish. Lockin said
Yes.
it was gross, and I was like, you know what? It is bad, and I don't know why I've been drinking it.
Dude, I want to go sponsorship, but this is going to cost me it. I think all of their flavors kind of stink, other than those two, like the citrus and the in that phase up one. I hate the other ones. They're like too puckery. Like they're like
Dude, have you guys
What
heard
about
of
the what?
pre-sleep?
pre-sleep.
Pre-sleep?
They message me
Dude, they messaged me
twice a
on
week.
Twitter like 50 times.
Twice a week, dude. They message me. I haven't replied. I might reply just so they send me their free stuff and then not
Yeah.
get back to them after that.
Yeah.
Got you.
It's an emergency.
Wait, he's getting his firefighter call. What was that company called?
Pre-sleep.
Pre-sleep. I'm pretty sure they fucking spam on Twitter.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
On
Yep.
X.
terribly.
Yes, dude. That's what I was looking. I was like, I recognize the name. They just keep
They
fucking
keep sending me the frog emoji for some reason.
The best is like where they reply, where like when you don't message them back. Yes. Oh my God, dude. Yes. And they like replied or like, oh, did we catch you at a bad time? I was like, no, you're sending spam, bro. Like, I'm not fucking responding to this. Tristan, you got a pre-workout. You're a coffee dude though. You're a bougie.
No, dude, I'm either an espresso guy or just straight trucker pills, like they literally no dose caffeine pills. Like, dude, they pack so easy when you're traveling. Like, I'm not gonna pack a case of Red Bull in a suitcase and travel with that. Like, I'm throwing some no dose in there, and that's good for the month, you know?
We need to talk about how like Red Bull has to be the biggest energy drink scam of all time, right? Like it's just
Sure,
sugar
yeah.
and like 50 milligrams of caffeine. It's literally nothing. And
But
people
they
think,
have a space program.
what do you mean?
Like, dude, they literally like sent someone to space. Like,
Red Bull tastes so good.
Good?
No,
I love Red Bull, dude.
I hate Red Bull. It's like gasoline.
it's
Oh,
sweet. I love it.
I could just drink that like water.
I can do a white monster. A white monster is fire, but like a Red Bull, oh, I hate it.
I
We
used to
already
drink
we already
so
know
much.
with White Monster.
I would drink so much Red Bull and vodka when I would go out and party, and then I would like try and lay down and go to sleep, and I'd be like, "Why can I hear my heartbeat? And why can't I fall asleep?" And it baffled me for so long. But then I realized I'm a fucking moron, and that it's because I was consuming 16 Red Bulls an evening.
Dude, that is my favorite thing. Like, I'll start to really think I'm smart. Like, I'll put out a post, it'll hit. I'm like, oh, I'm smart. And then I'll lay in bed awake at like 11 p.m. and be like, why the fuck can't I sleep? And I consumed a ghost like 30 minutes ago for a workout. And I'm like, I don't piece those two things together. I'm just like, fucking A, dude. Why can't I sleep right now? This is so dumb. So stupid. All right, let's get to the next Q&A. 3 Welties versus 1 Will. Who wins in an Oklahoma? This was by K Dot. K Dot asked this one. Yeah, I'll let you guys.
You
take
put
this.
up a Q&A for this?
Like
Oh, okay.
10 minutes before the podcast started too. Great timing there. Okay. Hear this out though. I posted. It was like the caption was the founding fathers will be meeting to discuss the state of our field. Let's make strength conditioning great again. I posted it 4 times and it got reported and flagged the first 4 times I posted it, like instantly by Instagram. Like recognized the terms. I was just fucking around on there. And it took it down 4 times in a row, and I posted the fifth time, and then it worked. So I was like, I have no,
Whoa.
yeah. And I thought Instagram stories were just down, so like I posted the same photo, same question without the caption, and it worked perfectly. So we're being censored.
Well,
I'm gonna because
Will wins. Will
I'm
wins
short
that.
on time here, so I'm gonna interject one thing. This isn't necessarily
Yes, here we go.
the state of our field, but this is a phrase that I've heard I don't know how many times. I know I've heard Cody Hughes say it. I like Cody, but this is a really fucking stupid statement. Um, I know a lot of other people I think Fred Duncan has probably said this a bunch, but like the phrase people will say, if you suck at your sport, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It's like it's the fucking opposite. If you suck at your sport, the more you need to rely on these other physical qualities like strength, you fucking idiot. Uh, that's like that's one phrase that I've heard way too often recently that I just wanted to. You brought up the state of our field. That's a fucking backwards. It's wrong. If you suck at your sport, the more you should build your strength and your speed and these other like measurable metrics that you can do you can like build in the gym. So
Before you go, if you got time, we did get the question in the Q&A. If you do suck, it was a long worded thing, but it's if you do suck at your sport, how do you not suck at your sport? What is it? What's your approach there? Is it get bigger, faster, stronger? What's your thought process there?
yeah, probably like because like the obvious and very snarky answer to that would be, well, practice your sport more, but obviously, so then the answer becomes, well, yeah, keep practicing your sport and then get bigger, faster, and stronger, and then you can support your suckiness of your sport a lot better.
Dude, that I was very, very much about practicing your sport more to get better at your sport. Still am. I agree with it. But it was more so for like our generation growing up in high school where it was just like a bunch of fucking meatheads getting after it. I see these high schoolers now, dude, like
Well,
130. I talked to Tristan about this. There was these kids, I thought they were 13 fucking years old, and they were juniors in high school, dude. Like, and they're talking about starting on their high school. I'm like, you guys are gonna get fucking destroyed. Like you're 130 pounds soaking wet. Like
They're
nothing
like
doesn't matter. You can
freshmen talking about varsity.
like, no, these were juniors in high school that just don't live.
Oh,
Like they're just so under physically developed. It's like you guys can throw a baseball and swing your bat all day long. It's not gonna matter. You don't like you're just not physically developed enough to be able to do. But it's like they have this like snarky approach of like I don't need to train. I just need to do this. And now
They
it's
need
like make,
clusters.
they need to eat clusters for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they refuse to. And I'm like, dude, I legit like they look 3 years younger than they actually are. And I was like, it blew my mind. I was like looking at these high school dudes. I was like, you guys are so fucked. And you don't like the worst part is they don't even know they're fucked. Like they're so ignorant about how under physically developed they are, which is insane to me. Like I think about this. It's like when I was in high school. I was 230 pounds, and I always thought I was the biggest piece of shit on the field. And a lot of times I was, for sure, I was. But it was like, these kids are 130 pounds, and they walk around like they have a 12-inch cock. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, where does this confidence come from, bro? It's like, you guys throw the ball 70 miles an hour. I've never pitched, and I can throw a ball harder than that. Like, what are we talking about right now?
I was 113 pounds junior year of high school.
Yeah, but you
So
wrestled. That's a little different.
I was pretty lean. I definitely should have hit the weight room. There was zero weight room development going on.
You also were a much different 113 than these guys were. You were a pretty freaky wrestler compared to these dudes who are baseball specific athletes throwing 70 miles an hour. Like Tristan, I could put you on the mound right now and you're throwing more than 70 miles an hour. I was like, this is tough.
I threw 68 at a Rockies bullpen the other week. So
All right, a little more velo we need there. Tim, what are your thoughts there? Suck at your sport. How do you get better at it?
It's kind of hard to add anything to what Will said. I mean, honestly, like I think if I wanted to get granular there, is like you need to understand what it is you suck at. Like,
That's
what the fuck's your problem? And like in high school, it usually does come like if that's kind of I feel like that's kind of like where it landed. Uh, it can usually be attributed to like one or two things. Like, are you fast enough or are you big and strong enough? And if the answer is no, then whatever one you need the most of, or like whatever your priority needs to be, like that needs to be your training focus, dude. And and here's the other thing, like kind of to Will's point, like if you're not if you've been practicing, assuming you've been practicing, and assuming you practice a lot, which you probably do, and you still fucking suck, you better fucking do the other stuff really well. And oftentimes, like I think this doesn't get talked about enough. Sometimes the reason why you suck at the skill of your sport is because of the lack of the physical qualities. Like somehow the two are completely inseparable. And you know what I mean? Like that's just not reality. It's not inseparable. And the two are very much reliant on one another
Yeah.
often. It's like, well, I would get better at my routes if I just run routes. It's like, well, yeah, maybe. Or you
separate
fucking
all.
are so goddamn weak and slow that you could run a perfect route, but you're not getting anywhere and you're not fooling anybody, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably it. But yeah, like, you know, you need to identify the quality or qualities. You probably want to focus on one or two max that you and you like, you know, you always know, like I get high school
You
kids
know.
all the time. I'm like, dude, what is it? What's the thing that's holding you back? And they're like, I try to get off the line and I get fucking bullied. I'm like, all right, well, let's fucking fix that. You know, like let's hit some weights. Yeah.
dude, that's something that like I've been thinking about super long, and like my retarded brain can't put it into like the best words, but it's like all these athletes, they look for the special first without just like letting the sport tell them what like it should be pretty easy. Like as soon as I simplified it to that, it's like, why am I getting beat in the sport? And then how can I go train that in the weight room, or how can I go train that in practice? And then go back to the sport. Like let the sport tell you that rather than, I don't know, man. I just feel like some of these
Yeah,
kids like
dude.
they come up with these imaginary answers that have nothing to do with what they're actually struggling with.
Because it's always easier and it feels better to put something out here that's more nebulous. People don't want to look at the fact that you're fucking weak, you know, and that's why you get bullied, and like that's why you're the weakest link in your friend group, and you're the one that gets fucking picked on. You know what I mean? Like it's because you're fucking weak, you know. Be stronger, you know, and it's and like that shit takes time and it's hard work, and like you're gonna have to like everyone else is done with practice and they get to go home play Call of Duty. Not you, not you.
Dude, it's like if Welty watched his game tape of Spike Ball, he would realize he's not a very good setter, and like he would work on his sets. But dude, he just refuses to. He just keeps hitting ISOs on his deadlifts.
All
Welty, what do
right,
you
I
got
gotta
for
get
us?
out of here, guys.
See you,
Later,
Will.
Will.
Welty, dude, what do you got for us?
Are we still talking about the same conversation of like,
Yeah, but we're gonna apply it into the firefighting field. We need your expert firefighting advice here.
I guess like we've done like station like optional like workouts. Like we'll have like a workout on like a Saturday. It's like optional. We can go to it, and I've went to a couple of them and everything. And it's just like CrossFit. Like people that lead is just trying CrossFit. Everyone looks at me like, "Oh, you're so good at this." I'm like, "No, I'm just generally stronger than everyone else here." Like, like and there are some people that are like really in shape, especially like the coaches that are coaching us, like the station leaders that are leading are like pretty good CrossFitters and stuff like that. But it's like the other people that are doing the workout with me, I'm like, how like is this hard? Like we're doing like I think push press with like an axle bar, and it was like only like 55 pounds. I'm like this is not heavy. This is not hard. This I don't like.
Dude, do you just flex on them? Do you just chat them?
Well, one of the like coaches came, or the other station leaders came up to me like, "You're really good at this. You're really in shape." I'm like, "No, I'm not that strong." If I look at like all my friends, like Will, Jake, Tim, and everyone else I'm probably on this podcast is stronger than me. Like Just gonna put myself out
Tristan,
there.
what's your max bench right now?
I haven't benched in like 3 years, so
What?
probably like 185 or
Oh,
190.
you still beat Welty. You still beat him.
Aw. Hey, I can ask Will. I'm doing concurrent programming with Will right now. Hit 175. Larson pressed before.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, dude. 250 is coming in. Welty, when you hop on trend, you're gonna rip 315 easy.
Well, Lockins like last week. Yeah, you're gonna take 315 for a ride.
Dude,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if Welty turns into like a monster of a human, like a person
He's just a
because of
hyper
trend?
responder.
Yeah, well, no, I mean like if by his admission he's the weakest in the friend group, he then becomes the strongest in the friend group. Does he start to assert that dominance in a way
Oh,
that's like really
absolutely. Welty is the
unhealthy?
biggest shit talker in this group, and it's not even close. Imagine Welty with a 315 bench. We're done.
You're just mad because you lost yesterday in the basketball game
What basketball game?
Wow.
with a Wyman yesterday morning.
That never happened. Absolutely never happened. I never lost in a basketball game.
Austin, I want to come up there and play basketball on that turf
Dude,
so bad.
you
I
have
want
to.
to like, am I going to be able to like dunk on the majority of your athletes? You've got some
Easy.
pretty good athletes up there,
Easy.
dude.
You will dunk on them easy. We have one 6'3" guy that just dominates because nobody else is his size.
What height is the rim on? Is it like 9 feet?
It's nine
Six and a
six.
half.
Oh God, yes.
It's the perfect bro. It's the perfect height. Almost everybody can dunk on it. It's just like it's the worst part though is the ceilings are only like how tall do you think the ceilings are? 15 feet?
A little
Oh.
So like your shot will hit the ceiling a decent amount. Yeah. And the rim and the backboard are the worst. Think like the worst lifetime or LA Fitness backboard of all time times 100 and you're on that. Jake played on it. Jake, what do you think about the U-ball hoop?
Yeah, but I didn't miss.
That's true. We dominated. We did kind of. We were also playing Duncan and who was the other guy with us? Zach,
Zane, Zane.
Zane. Yeah. That was.
Wasn't it us three? Me, you, Jake.
I was just all-time offense. It was the best role ever. I didn't have to play defense. I just got open looks the entire time. I felt like the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah, the Wealthy Jake connection's great.
Little 3v2. Yeah, the Welty Jake connection was a little off that day. But Jake, we got a personal request for you. Demarsha77 Rehab asked, can Jake shit on ATG for a little bit?
Oh, dude, I haven't even seen like any ATG content now
I kind of
for.
thought the same thing. I feel the only guy that I
Well, I
see
got
right
blocked. I got blocked, but I don't know. Is the trend dying off now or what?
the only guy I see is that Munchie guy. We should have had him on, dude. The curly-headed dude.
We'll get him on
Oh,
solo.
dude, he got
Yeah,
called.
dude, good call. He deserves his own podcast.
He got called out on Twitter by many people about saying these are the two exercises that help the fastest athletes get even faster, and it was like the ATG split squat and the seated good morning.
He did good morning, bro.
You see that? And people were like really respectable people in the field, which I don't think you have to do that because we realize that like the people in the know realize it's a joke, to make content like that. But yeah, they were pretty much just destroying this guy for like just dumb, just dumb. But yeah, the ATG, dude, I don't know. I haven't thought of them in so long. I used to think of them more when it was like I think when you're trying to come up an easy way to do. What was one of these tack was it in that one guy Brunson? He had a book. You guys know what I'm talking about? Russell something? One of his tactics to stand out in the field was help throw rocks at your enemies. You guys are familiar with that?
That was a
Yeah,
quote he
and like
said to
that
do.
was what's that?
Was that a quote he said to do?
It was something like that, but no, not like literally throwing rocks, but when you have an enemy and you don't agree with them, is like you're throwing rocks and then you get a following of people to do the same. So it's like ATG was an easy thing to pick on, but I'm kind of past that. Although at certain moments I do get pretty petty and want to just have a lapse of judgment. I'm like, screw it, let's make it let's make a spend 2 minutes to make something trying to tear them down, but. Yeah, dude, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. If you're talking about like knee pain, patellofemoral rehab, or patellar tendon, which are pretty much the two things you're going to be dealing with, Like it's just stupid. And rehab for mostly all musculoskeletal issues is so simple. It's just graded exposure, starting with the end of what do you want to get back to. And if you look at it that way, you're never going to do an ATG split squat because that position is just dumb. There's better options, and then just the exercise selection. It's like they've sensationalized exercises. I have sensationalized the leg extension because it deserves to be sensationalized.
It's sensational.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, it's just random exercises picked up by Charles Poliquin, and he's dead, so now you can steal all his stuff and market it as your own. And yeah, it's just low IQ. It's not even the medium IQ. It's like before low IQ. And
But that's the best sales tactic, dude. Medium IQ doesn't sell. High IQ sells, low IQ sells. Medium IQ does not
yeah,
sell. It doesn't work.
yeah.
You gotta go the dumbest of the dumb, or you gotta go the smartest of the smart. Everything in the middle doesn't work. When you talked about how the BPC, how like everybody on Twitter is just talking about how it's the most amazing thing, and then you get a bunch of DMs where it's saying it's not working. When ATG was first starting, like you were one of the OG ATG haters, Jake. Like you should wear that as a badge of honor. But the like when it first came out, it seemed like everybody was on board. Like every single person on Twitter was all about this stuff. And now, like now looking back, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever." But like everybody when it first came out was like, "This is the greatest thing." Why do you think it works so well in the front end? Because you were the first person where you were like, "Dude, I get DM." I didn't really know about ATG until you had Ben Patrick on your podcast. So you also promoted him, so you're all at fault there. Maybe you made him blow up, but
It was before he was big.
it was before, yeah, absolutely. But you were the first one to tell me you're like, yeah, dude, I get DMs all the time saying like this made my knee fucking blow up. And I was like, wait, really? Like everybody on Twitter is saying this is working. Like, why do you think they had that? Like, what the was it just
Ben
amazing
Patrick
marketing?
is BPC, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how the fuck did that work? Why did it blow up in the first place? Like almost
I
every
don't I
single
think I think they I don't know the marketing thing, but I it seemed like they had a lot of people, ATG coaches working for them. And part of it was they taught them how to make content. I think Jeffrey Wolf told me that. They
Mhm.
told them how to make the content the same. So then you go on your feed and it's just hundreds of reels of repeating the same thing. So you feel like it has to be correct. You've seen it 100 times. But yeah, in private, you get messages like I mean, for me, I mean, even when I met Tim like many years ago, I think we did hack squats, and my knee was I think I had like some fluid or like patellofemoral pain, and that deep knee flexion just did not feel good. And I think it's the same, although it's much better tolerated on a hack squat. With the ATG split squat, it just aggravates your like patellofemoral load is so high. If you have swelling in your knee or pressure or anything in your tendon, like that's not going to feel good either. Um, dude, it could just be a placebo that you see 100 reels of like this should make my knee feel better. You go and try it, and your instinct is like this doesn't feel good on my knee, but you override it because you're like, nah, there's 100 reels that said it should feel better. I don't know what it is, but um, yeah, I don't know. But when you have an army of people telling you that this is great for your knees, you're gonna probably start to believe it, even if that's not your experience.
it was like the first mass psyops of the nation right there. Like that's how oh my God, ATG is like a Fauci plant, bro. Fauci tried it out with ATG first and then unrolled his plan. I think, bro, we just figured this out. That's what happened. He's like, if we can get him to believe a split
Backwards
squat,
sled. What about backwards treadmill walk? I think that's where it really is goaded.
That's
if
Yeah,
we
one that
walking.
that's one that is not going to aggravate your knees, but it's also going to do pretty much nothing for your knees.
No, but
It
it's
could blow up my
mother's.
treadmill though. It could
It's
explode my treadmill motor.
he said it was Mother Nature's knee exercise, though, guys. That all you need is to walk backwards, and you can reverse out of your knee problems.
dude,
It's a legitimate quote.
if you don't believe in ATG, you don't believe in strength conditioning. That's just the end facts there. It's the truth. Cliff, what are your thoughts on ATG? Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, has anybody on this call spent any prolonged period of time running the program?
12
I've
weeks.
had
I did.
friends do it.
I
So
did during COVID.
I did it for about 6 weeks until my knees got pissed. But I have a because I will try to run for a 4 to 8 week block as many different types of programs that I can to glean whatever I can from them, right?
Sure.
And especially if it's making that much noise. At that point, I had 7 facilities. I had 2,100 members that are running my programs, and you get enough questions about certain things, even at the 38-year-old Sally level, that you want to be able to answer them. And firsthand experience really helps. And with my traveling and teaching fitness educators, I was getting so many goddamn questions about it. I was like, all right, let me do it, because me hearing secondhand means nothing until I experience it firsthand, both by applying it with clients at a high level, high number of clients, and then also doing it. And so for me, so I think that he does a fine job in having a program with a starting point that is not provocative and encouraging people to progress. We have to give him legitimate credit for that. The problem is somebody like myself or anybody on this call that has a high level of strength in the beginning, you're able to move into the high level loading variations of what they're doing because your muscles can handle it. But what ends up getting pissed off is your structure, because you're now going into ranges that you haven't loaded in that aggressive manner before. And so you didn't build the relationship of length in the structure and muscle at the same time. So what I'm saying is, like, muscularly, we're outpacing what our structure could handle in those positions. And so we skipped the traditional fucking loading that you would have to go through the steps of building the tissue that can support your output. That's what I've seen the most from people that have aggravated themselves. They were already strong. They were already strong in Bulgarians and regular split squats, and then they tried to go through greater ranges of motion. They got greedy about the weight they were using, and then they pissed off structure because they just weren't accustomed to that portion yet.
Yeah, I'm very much like Clifton, where I like experiment with all the programs. And I think it was right after Jake, you had him on the podcast or something, but it was before ATG was shit on. And I was just like, okay, I'm running all these programs. It was middle of COVID. I was running this program, and he was having me like, this is the genius of the system, money wise, like marketing wise, is you can't progress until it's like a certain time period to progress. So like the week one of the program when I started, it was like a
Oh,
barbell step down, empty weight, and you can't do anything. And I was like, I messaged the people, I'm like, guys, like I'm fucking getting nothing out of this. Like this is a barbell, like there's no weight on this. And they're like, yeah, you just got to keep progressing, and by week 6 you'll just get to the next one. But by week 6 you've already paid for like 3 different reoccurring like subscriptions to it. I was like, that's fucking genius. You guys are smart. Like they just found a way to gamify it and keep you on the program long enough to like continually unlock deeper levels of it. But like that was the biggest thing I took from them. Like their website phenomenal, their app phenomenal, their setup phenomenal to like scam people out of money. And then you get to the program, it's like, dude, just have like a set. And like you were saying, like the progressions or like the progression system for people for an online program is like one of the best things you can do, because it's like gamifies it for people. Like it gives them the next thing to reach for. Why should I continue to be a part of this? And I definitely stole from like that thought process, but I was like, just back this up with a program that isn't just cheeks, and you guys would be the most well-renowned strength conditioning program here, and you guys just decided not to do that. Welty, what we
Yeah,
got?
Um,
Welty's an ATG, I can see it. He's pissed that we're talking shit about him.
no, I actually never heard about it until Jake had him on his podcast, and then he hasn't.
Bro, Jake caused this. That might be the issue here.
Yeah, Jake caused it, but he's never really popped up on my feed, mainly because I think all of you guys shit on him that my phone just listens to that. But yeah, I guess yeah, I think I've maybe done the ATG split squat like 4 times in my life. That's about it. Otherwise, I just do like extension. So or the
Jake, did
best.
you ever when he was going manic, did he ever message you when he was messaging
Oh, wasn't it
oh,
you
around
guy?
this time last year when that
Yeah.
I
happened? I never
forgot
got
about
messages.
That
that.
was wild. That was
Wait, he
That
wild.
went
was
fully manic?
crazy.
Oh, he followed
Dude,
unfollowed me about
yes.
24 times in a 2 week period. It was crazy.
Yeah, sending like multiple, and it was all the weird part, dude, is it seemed as though it was happening to like coaches in our little pocket. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I
dude, it
mean?
was all of us at one time. It was crazy.
It was like it was Watson, it was David Gray, it was Daniel, it was Jump Science, um, and you, Yoakum,
Angus
and
got it.
Angus, and just kind of yeah, it did feel like he stopped taking meds or like I've been around people who are legitimately manic bipolar, it did feel like there was a bit of an episode. So I part of me like kind of feels bad, even as annoying as I find him. I'm like, I think he was legitimately having some sort of episode as frequently as he was unfollowing and following people and messaging, and just like the context of what he was saying and talking about was like kind of fucking nuts. What a weird thing to
Dude, it was
witness.
like 2 a.m. Like the longest Instagram message. It was like breakup Instagram messages. Like, or it's like the too long didn't read memes, like just constant. I was like, bro, you have 4 million followers. Why are you messaging me? Why do you care, bro? That's what I messaged. I was like, dude, you've won this game. You've absolutely won. You are a millionaire. Like, you can go do whatever you want. Why do you care? Like this is insane. And I'm not joining your team. Like that was the big, like they wanted me to join the team. I was like, no, dude, what is happening? Who cares?
I think it actually makes a lot of sense because, like, if you're gonna build something for the long term, like someone like him, for whatever, like that he's smart. He's not dumb. He is very smart. And when you see that there are a bunch of legitimate coaches that people have a lot of respect for who aren't sensationalizing anything, and you like it's matriculating up, like people are sending him our content, and people like us who aren't saying that like there's any one magical one size fits all fix for anything,
That
you
leg
know,
extensions.
except leg extensions. And but like it would behoove him in a very real tactical way to befriend and to try and persuade people who kind of stand for that in the strength and conditioning field, and like bring them on his side, you know? And manipulation isn't limited to just like being like sly and cunning and like kind of like on the nose. Like being overtly kind, being uh essentially fake is just another form of manipulation. And I think like that's the thing that's rubbed me the wrong way, from the marketing all the way to like that stuff where it's like pretending to try and be interested in you and be your friend so that you like align with him.
Dude,
Fuck that.
the
Like,
gross politician game. That is like of all the things, that's the
ew,
thing that drives me to
yuck.
and the worst part is when people fall for it and you're watching them fall for it. You're like, oh, come on. It's
Oh,
like watching a girl. This is what it is. It's like watching a girl get hit on by like the biggest fuckboy ever at a bar. And you're like, please, for the love of God, like there's no way you fall for this, right? There's no way. And then they fall for it. You're like, oh my God, like your
yep.
faith in humanity is just lost. Like
She
totally. You're
leaves
like,
with the guy.
fucking A, dude. Like, what is happening?
He's only got 3 DUIs. Like he's pretty chill.
He's a chill guy. He's a chill guy, dude. It's so bad. Cliff, I know since you've been in the field like 100 years longer than the rest of us, have you seen it like have you seen different waves of like ATG type people? Like what are your when you're like going through it, what have been like the waves that you've seen?
Man, when I started, it was the Paul Check wave. We were banding
Oh my
everything.
Who is that?
God.
It was the fascial slings before fascial slings was a thing.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, you just had to have cuffs and band like every goddamn thing. It was like right at it was peak functional training at the outset before the word was like as demonized as it is now, where it was a good intention that people had right out of the gate. They're like, hey, maybe there's more to fitness other than just getting big muscles. I mean, and ultimately we all come back to it, there's not, but ultimately that's the goal. Um, but it was, I mean, it was pushed by equipment manufacturers. They were like, oh, look, we can sell all this shit to people. I think made it bigger because then they paid educators to use their shit. And then the educators wanted to get paid to push their equipment. And so it was a lot of TRX, mini bands, spry bands, med balls, everything other than lifting heavy. Right.
But Bosu
And
balls, those are things.
Bosu balls as well. Absolutely. Like variations of things to stand and balance on, that give the feeling of being difficult without actually any real meaningful overload. And I'm very cleanly like in the camp of I think there's value there for general fitness people. And here's what I mean, and not overvalued compared to lifting weights and actually getting strong and actually getting in shape. But there's so many people that all see in my gyms, they have no athletic endeavor in their life for the last 20 years and they can't fucking move at all. And so by
Yeah.
getting some physical movement challenges like Austin's warm-ups that he does with athletes, it's kind of like that, but in a much more controlled setting, which is necessary for Sally, who hasn't fucking done anything for 2 decades. And so these challenges of having to move themselves functionally, and I'm just rebranding it athletically, um, is necessary for people to feel like they have competence and confidence in moving through life in different ways. It shouldn't ever replace actually getting strong and trying to add muscle mass because that shit's healthy and objectively will have easier changes on people's health markers faster than trying to balance on one leg and do shit. But so that was where it started from a history lesson. It was the functional that made the seesaw action go, oh, we went too functional. Let's all fucking be power lifters. And then everyone got fat and winded upstairs. And everybody was like, you push through your heels on everything. That was kind of happening at the same time as CrossFit, which is another pushback on functional fitness compared to the light sissy bands, twisty shit. And they're like, no, we lift actual weights. We all Olympic weight lift and do starting strength, sharding strength. And we do 5x5. And then everybody got really into both only weightlifting and powerlifting. And I think it's fair to say that, from 2008 to 2014 were like the big parts of those things being more and more clever. Simultaneously, you started to see movement camps like Ido Portal, Animal Flow, various parkour, dancey stuff that came about. And then you got the CrossFit led to the pushback of everybody's training too intensely. We need to make sure everybody does their zone 2 walks and doesn't ever push hard. And that was a fucking lie because yes, CrossFit gyms maybe did. Probably not though. And now I don't know what the trend is now at this
I was
point.
gonna say, what current phase are we in? Like, what's the phase you're seeing?
I think that in the last 3 years, we the phase has been a comeback into, you know what, bodybuilding is fucking sick. Chase pumps and actually get big. Still be strong. Like don't give up on being strong, and still like maybe move athletically every so often. I joke about athletically because most people they just do a broken ass powerlifting program with a little bit of bodybuilding, and they're like, plus I jump once a week and sprint once a week, and constantly am hurt. And they call that the athletic training. But so right now, I think it's the trend is you putting the term athletic on things and doing one set of box jumps and like some half-ass sprints per week, and then bodybuilding coming back, which is cool, which is great because there's a while there where it's like the Fight Club body is the way to go, and I'm like, no, that's just called being skinny.
You just don't have enough muscle. That is when I was in high school, it was bodybuilding was frowned upon hardcore. Like, and it's like Jake was probably the first person I did arms with in like 8 years, just because like my entire growing up, our coach told us the entire time, like, if you're like arms are unfunctional, bodybuilding is unfunctional, you're gonna become a block, you're gonna become like you're not gonna be able to move. Like, it was hardcore about that. I forgot about those days where it's like if you did arms, you were like shamed in our weight room. If you did anything over probably 5, what do you think, Tristan? What was the most reps we did? 8 reps maybe in high school? And it was and our high school program was really good compared to like many high school programs. I just remember the number one shame thing was doing anything over 8 reps. It was a bodybuilder protein. It wasn't functional.
Well, I would have
Those
had
were
to
dark
actually not
days.
skip the weight room. That would have been that would have been the first thing, or lie about having done my reps. That would have been the first key.
You would have to look at the workout sheet to know that answer.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see how many people are chasing pumps again. It's
well, how about C-Bum though? C-Bum's gonna take us back into the athletic world with that vertical, dude.
Jesus Christ.
he launched up there.
Dude. What
CGI.
about yeah, something like, dude, what are those
Dude, I've
Achilles
got
doing,
his
Jake?
trainer, the guy he did that with, Justin King. He's coming on, coach him up here in not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Is that's been his trainer, or now it's like his trainer for athletic stuff?
No, no, no. So I didn't know this. This is all relatively new to me. I found out about this before the now infamous counter movement jump, but apparently he was getting hurt a lot just doing bodybuilding work. And so somehow he got connected with this strength coach and physio Justin, and basically just started having him do Clifton more athletic stuff more frequently, where he's not only just lifting heavy and controlled and slow and just in like the same patterns over and over again. And lo and behold, he doesn't get hurt as often, right? And I'm sure, and I'm looking forward to discussing this with him. I'm sure he started having some fun again. You know what I mean? Like, uh, I love chasing pumps is fucking sweet. After a long time of only doing that, it's so redundant for me. I mean, I fucking love who no one everyone likes to look good and get a sick pump. It's the fucking best. But if that's all you're doing, it can be pretty boring. And I think for someone like him at the highest level, like he's also strong as fuck, dude. Like Seaboom is legitimately fucking strong. He's not afraid to lift heavy weights. So seeing that counter movement jump wasn't like that surprising. Like he's pretty lean. He's 250, and I bet he can squat over 600 pounds.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking monster. If it does not, I just saw a video of Mark Bell running, and he's like used to be a monster, and they move very differently. It's like
Yes, they
Mark Bell,
do.
Mark Bell is locked up, my dude. Like, yeah, I was watching him sprint today. I'm like, I have never seen somebody's like spine move less in a sprint. I was like, dude, we got to get some rotational work in there. Something's
You know
got to
what? I'm
happen.
sure he is. I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, hats off to him
Oh, he's a
for
goat. I
for
fucking love.
getting out
I do
there.
love Mark Bell. I fucking love him.
I mean, like, and recording it, and like, because I'm sure he looks at that and he knows. He fucking knows. He's moving like a goddamn brick, but that motherfucker's trying. And so, like, hats off to him. But yeah, you're right, dude. It He's locked up, and he's how old is he? Clifton, do you know? He's got to be in his. Is he 50 something?
Even
Got
older
it.
than me. Yeah, he's over 50.
He's
He's over
right.
50.
Yeah. He looks
I
better
mean,
now than he did a year ago.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. 100%. That is very true. Jake, what's
imagine
the
starting to sprint in your 50s.
well
Go to.
that's the thing that's crazy to me is like a lot of these power lifters, like at least this is how I view it. It's like they're phenomenal powerlifters because they're just like deep down sick athletes. Like their CNS is like twitchy and they just decided to put that into powerlifting. And they're like, there's freak athletes. Like I have this powerlifting guy I train. He deadlifts like 700 pounds, benches like 450. And you have him do athletic stuff. And it's not the most beautiful thing, but like you see the twitch. You're like, holy fuck, dude. Like if this dude just trained for like athletics, he'd be a dog. And so you like C-Bum makes sense. It's like that dude he's just a dog and just put it into bodybuilding. But then you watch Mark Bell, I'm like, and he was a dog powerlifting. Like Mark Bell was an absolute freak. And I was like, okay, he's gonna be a freak athlete when he switches over. But yeah, I guess and when you are 50, it's a little bit of a later start than starting when you're like 20 or 30.
Yeah, he's wired that stiffness in there pretty well
That shit's
at this point.
downloaded in the brain.
And I wonder how many like injuries he's had where shit is just in effect like fused together.
Yeah. It's not separate segments of his spine. It's literally just one steel rod. Uh
Out of necessity.
Jake,
Yeah.
what's the return? Speaking of vertical stuff, what's the return to dunking going to look like for you? How are you going to do that without blowing up your knees?
Um, well, I don't know. I haven't really cared. Everything. It's who I'm around. It's what I'm around. So like I've just been dunking for 3 months. Haven't been around any basketball games for the most part, or people that dunk. So I just take it away, and I'm just gonna get back. I mean, if I come back to Minneapolis, I can go to all of these LA fitnesses, and I'm just gonna start playing. Playing a lot of ball is gonna help, and then doing a few dunk attempts. And if it blows up, I'll know the next day or maybe during, and then I'll just scale back. I mean. I pretty much know exactly what's going on with the knee at any moment. Yeah. And then hindsight is 2020. Be like, oh, I took 3 months off and now I tried to dunk and it blew my knee up. Yeah. Like you think?
At this
Yeah.
point, do you do any vertical jump training, or is it just like play a little bit, jump a little
No,
bit,
not
and
here. And,
back?
and part of it too in Wisconsin is like I have this weight room, but like it's freezing everywhere and there's no basketball court. It's like a mile away or an hour away if I'm gonna go play basketball. So there's just no access. So I just find it's just been sitting in a deer stand hunting and walking in the woods. It's like it's not the best for
Well, you got
vertical
that
jump
little portal, you
development.
got that little adjustable rim, and with that
Yeah,
like
but it's
one
covered
foot.
in snow and there was a lot of ice here. The snow melted and it turned to ice, so there's ice everywhere. Like I have like I had a half mile walk out to the shack and back like through over a creek and woods and everything. And I don't know how many times I fell off, like toppled over because of the ice. Um, and often with corn buckets in my hand and the corn I'd spill most of the corn. I was just pissed. But yeah, I mean I'll get it. I think I'll get it back. It's just I'm just a child with like I if I don't care to do something, I'm not going to force myself to do it. But if I'm around if I go back to Minneapolis and if I stay there for like a month, I'm probably going to play basketball for 30 days straight. Because I'm around it. If I'm around something,
Basketball and Mario Karts.
yeah, basketball, Mario Kart, Planet Fitness pumps, and then some like extensions.
Get the people going. We had another question here. It's not necessarily at Jake, but Jake, I think you're gonna have the best answer here. Thoughts on balancing lower rep, high output work with higher rep capacity work? What's our what's our
Lower
thought
rep
there?
output work, lower rep output work. You probably just
Cluster.
compound exercises. You do that, and then higher rep capacity. I don't really like that term, high rep capacity. Yeah, just isolation work. Like
No, the answer is cluster. The answer
that's
is cluster.
clusters. Yeah,
Yeah, just
why
cluster.
did they try to just feed into hypertrophy clusters? There you go.
Just buy program and you will be set. What do you got, Welty?
I just said buy a program.
Buy program. That's all you need to do. What else we got? Should you base training more off RPE or percentages? Nino
Both not
Frappuccino asked this.
Both, both.
Going both.
What about VBT?
Bro, I don't think I've lifted off of like a percentage. Really even an RPE. Like I don't know. I haven't done that in like 4 fucking years.
Yeah, it's because you
Well, we
don't care
lost.
though.
It's true. It's true.
We
But it's
lost
like
the simp for percentages, Will.
I
We
know,
did.
I know. This would have been a good question. It came in. I'm updating these live every time I go back. We have a new question. So this was and we just got another one. This was a one that we got within the last 5 minutes. But yeah, he is a simp for percentages. But yeah, I feel like whenever I was focused, the only time I went like hardcore percentages was high school and a little bit of college. But dude, every time it would be so like. And obviously, this isn't the percentages fault. It's like what people do with those percentages, and the same thing with the RPE. But it was like it was written on a piece of paper like a month ago, or 3 months ago, or a year ago, and it's just like you're blindly following that day. And dude, I remember I like fucked my back on like a Monday. Like my back was. I could not get out of the car. I was so fucked. And we were supposed to hit a 92% clean and a 92% squat on Wednesday. And he's just like, do it. I was like, fucking A. I loaded up that bar. I was destroyed for like 2 weeks. I literally couldn't move. And I was like, this is the dumbest. I didn't think it was the dumbest way to train then, but like hindsight, looking back at it, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, how is this our solution to this problem right here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's people want to make a plan a year in advance and just have the work be done. You don't have to look at anything a year out, and it's way easier versus if you have someone complaining every single day and changing it, that also isn't probably a very good idea.
Yeah, that's true. But that's
Yeah,
why I like
there's
the
no way to win.
Quit.
quit.
Yeah.
That's a good Tristan, you just spoke to Jake right there. That's his soul. The I feel like that's the nice way to do it though. It's like I don't even know if it's considered an I mean, I guess it's technically an RPE, but like when you're just like go hit something fucking heavy that day for you, like whatever that is for you. And if that's not very heavy in general for you that day, that's okay. You still hit something heavy that day, but you don't need to go break yourself. And days when you're feeling great, go hit something really fucking heavy and really cool and record those days and then just post those days. Don't post your non-cool days.
Isn't that like the definition of RPE?
Like, yeah, but I feel like people do like percentage based RPEs. Like they do like sevens. Like I've never done a 7 RPE. I just fucking it's always a 10. And we're just always building up to a 10 RPE. Like we're just gonna fucking rip today, bro. Cliff, what's the background of percentages and RPs? Where are we at in the cycle there?
I, I don't use either, never have, because I deal with people that have no body awareness and understanding of what effort actually is. They've got a governor set at 64 miles an hour on their output. And so their RPE 10 is your RPE 2. And that's an RPE 2 without any pre workout. So, what with them, the way that we do things that I found to be the most successful is to get a rep range for everything we do. So 8 to 10 reps. And if you get 10 and you could have done more, pick up a heavier weight. If you only get 8, that's okay. Like that's still a good set because that's in the rep range, chasing the quality that I'm looking for. Because maybe the biggest thing that happens to people is you tell them pick the weight you're going to do with 10 reps, and this is a group class setting, not a one-on-one setting. But pick a weight you're going to do 10 reps with, and they pick something they can do 25 reps with, right? And you go, well, that wasn't fucking enough. This is why you've made no progress, Sally, in 13 years because you don't know what effort is. I'm going to help you understand, and then we teach them rep ranges, and the rep ranges make it much easier because ideally they don't feel like a failure if they don't hit 10. Because the opposite side of the coin to the person that can never put intensity into it is the person that fucking goes for broke on everything every time and just full send every set. Yeah, which is most people in the industry, which is why most people in the industry end up hitting their 92% lifts on a Wednesday after hurting themselves on Monday, because you don't want to be a bitch.
Yeah, YOLO.
Well, yeah, I follow that. I follow the same setup. It's just a 0 to 1 rep range. You either get it or you don't, and if you get it, then you can add more until it says 0, and then you're set.
100%.
That brings up a good point though. How the fuck do you, Cliff? Like, how do you motivate Sally to like push harder? Like with high school kids, it's basically just. I mean, people are gonna get mad about it, but basically just tell them not to be a pussy, and like then put them next to somebody that is not a pussy, and then they're like forced to not be a pussy. But you can't really do that with Sally. I would assume you can't really do that with Sally and like keep Sally. Like, what's the thought process there?
Eventually, that's the go-to coaching mechanism for everybody. You just have to develop the rapport to get there, right? Like day one, Sally, you're acting like a pussy isn't going to work. Instead, like day one, it's like, let me hug you and tell you that you're doing great, Sally, and that 3 pound is fantastic on your squat. And eventually, Sally trusts you enough to take some of your recommendations, and then you go, hey, Sally, you're acting like a real bitch right now. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead and pick up some more weight. And once you develop that rapport, that's I think that'll help everybody else out to go ahead and not act like soft.
Fuck yeah. All right. Last question of the podcast. We got first principles of SNC. What are your guys' principles of SNC that, and I let's, if we're gonna go state of the field right now, that are especially butchered? Like I'll start with this one. I think it's probably the progression regression model. It's like people don't know how to progress enough. They don't know how to come up with variations of being able to progress, and they overcomplicate things and they lose sight of that. It's like regress to where you are, progress to where you want to go, and you can find millions of tools to be able to do that. And I think a lot of people get jacked up in a lot of the complexity. Who's there, Welty?
That was Matt. Matt, do you want to say hi to the podcast?
Yeah, get Matt on this pod.
Matt,
Ask
Matt,
him.
Matt,
Hey,
Matt. Come here.
is he going to give us his first principles of SNC here?
That was aggressive.
Yeah, that was. Matt, you here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. What's your first principles of SNC?
Like strength and conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
First, what was the question?
This is Locken's best friend. This is Locken's best
I'm not
friend.
speaking for it, so I shouldn't swear. But
What?
Yes, you can swear. You can
Okay,
swear.
we're gonna give you an easier question here. What's your favorite Locken story?
favorite Locken story.
Give us something juicy, dude.
Hmm.
Come on, you got
Spicy.
5 minutes of fame here.
Let me think on it for 3 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Oh my God. All right, Tim, go.
I would say
That is how you don't rizz up a girl right there, by the way. That dude has no
Not
game.
the Rizzler.
Not a Rizzler. He is fumbling at the bar 100%.
He's on ball and chain.
The thing that I see get butchered the most, right? That's the question, like a
Yeah,
principle.
kind of. Yeah. Let's throw rocks at our opponents right now.
All right. Yeah, there's a couple. I'm trying to find which one I want to get on my soapbox about though. I think um okay, the technical speed model,
Yes.
the um there are several big brands and names, and
Sam.
there's like a technical, like Altus has a
Sam,
model,
drop those names.
right? I'll just use Altus for example. Wonderful, incredible. They're elite at what they do. That disclaimer out of the way. Like, apart from track athletes, and I think someone who's done a good job of like eliminating the differences, and why like one model, albeit fantastic for one population, isn't necessarily useful and impactful or practical for other populations, is Joel Smith of like, and I see this all the time in my space in football, where people take an athlete and instead of trying to help them improve certain qualities that might help them get faster, they double down on the technical piece. And I think that's a big fucking mistake. And I don't think that like it is, because like taking one lens and applying it to every athlete across all sports, I think is just really short-sighted. I think if you did that for other things other than speed, most people would say, what the fuck are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. But for whatever reason, there's like this collective consciousness and essency and performance of like what sprint technique is. And like there's this standard and it's what people do on the track. And from a absolute perspective of what human performance is, probably true. And its practical application in other sports, probably not ideal. The way a field sport athlete needs to move, and the way I get most field sport athletes, particularly if they don't have a track background, the way they move through space is just different. They are not front side dominant. They're not perfectly upright. They're not running tall. And guess what? Like,
Give your answer.
trying to coach
Answer.
them
You
on how to
Sorry, Tim. Sorry.
Well, T, bro.
Favorite locking story goes back to high school. We were D partners, high school hockey, and he started hating hockey, so we'd start like lifting before hockey, and we were playing like a good team, and we got burned 2 goals in one shift. And he gets off the ice and he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, I just like trap hard 405 for like 5x5. I'm fucking gassed." We got burned a couple of times on our shift and we ended up losing. So I kind of stopped,
Good, good comeback. Good job back on
but-
the story. All right, play, Tim.
That's actually not bad considering, like, you know, like it could have been a worse story, you know? But yeah, like, I think like in any other context, if you took one lens of one sport and said that this is the way that it should work for every sport and every athlete in a particular way that they move, I think in any other circumstance, there would be a ton of pushback on that. And it just feels to me when that is discussed, there's a lot of like appeal to authority and not a lot of people willing to push back because they don't feel like they understand speed as much as these institutions that have standardized, packaged, and sold their concept of what it is. And I just think that in certain contexts, it makes a ton of sense. And that in other contexts, like it doesn't. As someone who's like been involved in combine prep and pro days, like you get guys, you have them for 6 weeks, and it's like you have them run wickets 3 times in that process, and you really fucking think that that is the reason why they're going to get faster over that period of time? You're a moron. That's not what's happening, you know? So that's it.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one. I've been diving deep into the baseball world because of my softball stuff, and it's brutal. It's the same. It's the same like fucking where your hands and knees are here, like front side. It's the same thing with the baseball world. Except the baseball world's even more moronic because they'll say something, they'll put a video up of the person not doing what they're talking about, but like they've convinced themselves because they've talked about their system for so long that that person is doing it. I was like, what in the world? Like the dude is literally doing the opposite thing that you're talking about, and you're using this as your example. Like it is one of the biggest like Kool-Aid moments I have seen in any sporting model. Sprinting is way up there as well. I've just been so far into the baseball world recently where it's like, man, these guys have like actually tricked themselves of this fairy tale.
Yeah.
Jake, what do you got?
Clifton, you go first.
Maybe I'll riff on something. So Tim was saying like this. I'm going to reframe it: obsession in the movement quality of sprinting versus building the characteristics of physical outputs that would support sprinting faster. Like you got to do both. And
Yeah.
the piece that I've kind of been involved with in the fitness industry for a while is the idea of like what is moving well. For a long time, the winner of that battle was FMS, trying to define it with their 7 tests, and their tagline was even "move well, move often." And they define moving well with these 7 arbitrary tests that I'm not a fan of personally. NASM, they've got their overhead squat and a couple other things, and various schools have their moving well dictated by some arbitrary test that they liken to being able to do certain stuff. And my beef with it, because I think that's what this question is, my beef, is I think that all the people's definitions of moving well suck because they're almost entirely based around what you do in some exercise. And that's just one thing that probably doesn't tell you a whole hell of a lot other than that exercise. And so I think I've got the best definition of moving well is, can you do shit on purpose? And the more shit you can do on purpose, the better off you will be. And the big fucking asterisk is, if you're a specialized sprinter or baseball player or football guy, do the specialized shit really fucking well and don't worry about the other stuff, because you get paid or you get off on doing those things really, really well. But if you're not, you probably want to do more varied stuff better than average. And that means you can do it on purpose. You can choose to squat with your toes forward or toes out, your knees in, or do the stanky leg, but you're doing it on purpose, not on accident. The problem is when you're doing shit without awareness of it or accidentally. And so if you train in a way through life that gives you the opportunity to move in different ways on purpose. I know I said that a bunch, but that's the idea. Like, yeah, intentionally. Yeah, that's a nice, better sounding word. More better on purposer. That's what I'm after. That's what I think is useful. My beef with the industry is that we always are likening everything that's valuable back to weight room shit instead of general movement shit.
Why do you think people like, or how do you think people are able to psyops themselves? Because this is a question that I've thought about too. It's like, I mean, the perfect example of the FMS, where it's like they're talking about, they're showing the example of that really good Olympic lifter can't like sit with the bar overhead, and then you see him like win gold with like 400 pounds over his head. You see it with athletes all the time. They look like trash squatting, but you put them on a field and they're one of the best movers. Like, how do you think, like, why do you think people, or how do you think people are able to avoid those paradoxes that are like kind of right in front of you?
Well, if we do it professionally, we want what we do professionally to matter. And part of feeling like it matters is feeling like it's brain surgery. And so we try to make what we do to be rocket science to give ourselves more status in our own minds. And you know, at the end of the day, that's why when I describe what I do, I tell people, I teach people how to do push-ups. Because ultimately that's what I do. And then the push-up just gets subbed for whatever the fuck variation they're doing. And you know, it is a bit of a shame within the fitness industry, specifically S&C industry. I think people are dickheads even more than the fitness industry, because they're even more self-important. At least in the fitness industry, like you hug people and tell them that they're doing a nice job and whatnot. But the self-importance that we try to do, and I think there's a big reason for that, is a lot of the other parts of society don't value what we do a whole hell of a lot. And so we end up as these like cunty, condescending people that are trying to make out what we do to be so complicated that we speak down on normies, and then we lose them as a result. And I understand you want what you do to matter and look cool and feel important and not be looked at as like some dorky meathead. But you know, but here's the thing: being dorky meatheads, when you break it down and you're working with a lot of people, you are having more positive outcomes on their health than any doctor is at scale. And so it is it is important the shit that we end up doing, but we don't feel that way a lot of the time.
Well done. Well done. Good
That was
rant.
masterful.
Yeah. All right, Jake. What do we got for
Oh man, that's
tendons?
hard to think because I don't really strength conditioning too
No,
much.
you
Just
take
in
you take you take it your tendon route, bro. Like
I
what
know
like
that's all I can think about, and I think recently. So I don't have many moments nowadays because I have an echo chamber where people just agree with me, and there's not much like negative emotions of people challenging me. But I did have it recently. A few people when I posted a few. So I posted a few Achilles ruptures, and I basically said here are three movements that unless you do the warped wall in American Ninja Warrior, you have to do the warped wall. It's part of your sport. Do it. Um, if you don't need to do these. They don't offer any significant benefits, and they put you in a position to that is uh, Achilles rupture. The Achilles rupture often position is the false step, but it's a false step with the heels coming down on the ground and behind, and the other hip is in hip flexion. So it's kind of like an ugly position that you don't really want to be in because if you're trying to move forward, you're pushing off your back leg, whereas you should be having your front leg on the ground already. So it's like this weird reaching pattern. There was a study in NBA players where they looked at the exact position. Anyways, the three movements were I have this alternating step up jump
bro,
that
I
this
know that
lady
was the
did.
wildest call out. I'm like, I didn't see that exercise wherever and Jake's is coming at it. It was fucking
Yeah, so
hilarious.
it puts you in this position. It puts you if you do it the way she did it. A lot of people can do it. Like I had a younger guy send me a video. He was like 20 or something, or 30, I don't know. And he just does it where like you see really good pre-activation of the calf and the hamstring, everything. It just looks very clean. This lady, that's not how she was doing it. Her heel was like smacking the ground. So it's like obviously you can do it, buddy. Like you're 20 or also you're 20 years old or 25. I don't know. You're not in a group that's gonna rupture the Achilles from something that looks pretty harmless. So that exercise, I was like, it's dumb, doesn't offer any significant benefit compared to other things. The other was a hop up into a sprint where like you're pushing off the back leg, puts you in that dumb position again. And then the other was the warped wall. So it was like three exercises where I'm like, if we're talking about Achilles ruptures, it puts you in the position that yanks on it a lot. And then I think the crowd that kind of came back on me was like the movement optimism crowd, where like I love all these ideas and I agree with them, but it's like they're not all perfect. And the movement optimism is like you can do anything as long as you physically prepare for it. That's kind of the idea, you know? And you just don't know the status of your Achilles tendon. And if your Achilles tendon is really bad, really degenerative or unhealthy, it'll often not be painful. And then you go and do these like three exercises that yank on the Achilles tendon a lot, you probably have a higher chance of rupturing your Achilles. So, I think my main th problem I've had recently was like you have this perfect fairy tale that you think anyone can do anything as long as they physically prepare for it. Okay, cool. I think if you work with people for 10 or 20 or 30 years, you're going to have a few Achilles ruptures. And now what does your little model have? Because that person was functioning just perfectly before that happened. So yeah, I'm just the idea of movement optimism, I'm on board with it. The idea of physical preparation, load management, I'm completely on board with these things. But I love trying to poke holes in them. And I think you poke a hole when you have someone that looks like they're doing things okay, they don't have pain, their things are going smooth. Pop, there goes the Achilles. And it's like maybe we need to alter this model a little bit. Uh yeah. So that's my main issue. Like, and it's a biomechanical thing. So like that position is it's kind of a biomechanical explanation for the injury. And it's like this is biomechanics that you don't want your people to have. This really big pushing off the back leg with a big reach in the front leg. It's just ugly. You don't need to be in that position. It's also very unlikely. You probably have a 0.0001% chance of rupturing your Achilles, but again, you don't know the status of someone's Achilles unless you're imaging that, unless you're looking at like the metabolic, if it's an older person, chronic blood sugar levels, cholesterol levels, genetics. There's so many things that could go into it. And I think if you do get a person that ruptures their Achilles, they're probably never the same. At least they have 1 year where they can't really train like you need to. So your fairy tale ideas of physical preparation and whatever is like, well, it failed there and you kind of ruined that person's life.
Did
I
you
don't have
enhance?
the answers though. So I still don't have the answers, but I hate when people come at me like they have the answers. I'm like, you just don't have enough experience. You haven't seen Achilles ruptures. You should go and see some of those people. And I think if you, yeah, you would be forced to alter your idea of what's going on.
So they will not be in vertical jump protocol 2.0.
Those exercises, no. And I've never done the step up jump. I've seen people do that. It's just you're probably everyone is probably okay doing that stuff, but it's like wait until you have that one and like the warped wall, man. When I posted that, I had so many people reach out of like working at trampoline parks or doing American Ninja Warrior and the amount of
Coming
Achilles
at you.
ruptures. No, no, the amount of Achilles ruptures they've seen.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I don't work. I've never been really to a trampoline park, but you take a 40, 50-year-old guy who's like playing with his kids, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run up this wall, and then pop, there goes your Achilles. It's like, yeah, that's not a good way to go. And
You guys seen an Achilles rupture live?
If I can nocebo people out of it, I'm happy. You're welcome. You're
Oh,
Guys, I
you're
got.
welcome.
you're you're like 2 years away from being Boyle.
I'm out, guys.
Tim.
You Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later, boys.
Jake, I
Guilty.
thought of that. I thought of you and that post yesterday because in my 45-minute extreme kettlebell class at Lifetime, where there are 30-second high effort outputs on a low step, I do like a front foot heavy step up off the front and land for theoretical low level input to the back leg if you're heavy on the front foot.
Yeah.
And I like it for the feels of output in this class. Not because it's going to be a performance gainer, but because I've got clients that need to have that feel to have buy in. And it's a relatively safe thing if they don't fuck it up. But the two 40-year-old teachers who had the day off because it was snowed out both did it the fucked up way that you posted. And immediately on the mic, I'm like, hey, Sally, stop. You're just doing step ups. And they weren't allowed to jump because they couldn't do it on purpose. And so I just had them do regular ass step ups because I don't trust that shit either because they got 40 pounds extra on their stomach that they don't have the strength to manage. And in that position, it absolutely puts excess strain on the lower leg. And I wouldn't feel good about it if they fucked up their Achilles in my step aerobics class.
Have you guys seen one live in a training session?
Yeah, I had a lady, a strength coach, strong as shit, that came over to join my wife and I doing some ninja in California when I lived there. Jake saw it. I have a full ninja rig at the house, and she was doing ninja stuff, and she was jumping tire to tire. And when she landed on the tire, she landed on this part that's shaped like a warp wall, and gunshot went off.
Oh God.
And when I first saw it, I was like, I heard it. I thought she broke her tibia or something like this because of the snap sound. And so I ushered my kids inside because I didn't want to have them like looking at a mangled leg. And it just turned out to be an Achilles.
Oh, that is brutal. Jake, you didn't have one at like Youngstown with the basketball people, did you?
No, and it's also age thing. Like you're not likely to do it in college. You're too young. When I left, there was a super senior 5 year he basketball player. He ruptured his Achilles. Actually maybe it was his fourth year, and then he came back and he played, but he was not the same.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
there's
you're
like you see them more in basketball for sure than like football. I feel like the only time they happen in football is like when they're like 40-year-old quarterbacks or cornerbacks. What'd you say? Like
yeah,
I feel like
I
that's,
don't know the exact numbers, but I think the thing I don't know if there's a big difference basketball and football, but there is a difference age, like 30-year-old, 40-year-old people. Even the NFL, there was an NFL lockdown many years ago, if you guys remember that, and they
yeah,
had a ton of
it was like a
Achilles
huge
ruptures.
spike of it.
Yeah, right after they came back. So there's so many factors and probably a lot of factors that are unknown. But
Why are the QBs? Why are the QBs getting Achilles now? I feel like I never saw that before, and now it's like constant. Or is it just it's random?
yeah, I don't know.
Is it changing game, changing
It's that
turf?
weird, but it's that weird like false step with like that upright position. And when you're a QB, like you have to have that upright position if you're gonna
Yeah.
looking for where to throw the ball and everything. And it's age, and it's probably just like a degenerative tendon that you don't know is degenerative because you're not getting the imaging, which can go with its own laundry list of negatives if you have are imaging people's tendons all the time.
Well, it
Um,
actually kind of makes sense because like the way the NFL rules have changed, so you can play quarterback for longer. Like those quarterbacks were going to get hurt earlier. They don't play as long. They get more beat up, other stuff. But now they're able to stay alive longer, and now they're like 38 years old playing the same position. Whereas
yeah.
like previous
So
years, you wouldn't have a 38-year-old quarterback. Like that was unheard
I
of like 10 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, and even the young so I think what I should have said when you would like the one of my issues with the strength conditioning is like I don't think people have a good grasp on the like calf and Achilles development. And I definitely don't either, but I think that that structure is different than any other structure in the body. And I think we're usually like a few calf raises maybe, and then like some go and play your sport, and you're going to get a bunch of calf development, which you are, but could there be something preventative to, get rid of Achilles issues or calf strains? I don't know the answer, but I do know like me experimenting with the type of loads you need to put through the Achilles on calf raises, like you feel like your calf is going to explode, and that's how you're getting strained through the Achilles. And prior to doing that, it's like this was never a thing before. No one's loading their Achilles to this extent, and there's quite a bit of research on showing that's how you get the requisite strain. So like the pull on the tendon is very high when you're running, like maybe 15, 20%, maybe. And if you want to get even close to that, you have to load the calf in the weight room to the point where like your soleus and gastroc, or I guess probably just feeling your soleus if you do seated, you feel like that muscle is going to tear off the bone. And that's how you get in the Achilles strain. But it's like maybe that's a way to get the tendon healthier in the long run. I just think we need to open our mind to these Achilles ruptures are happening, and you can't just say, "Oh, well, it happens." It's very rare, but it happens. It's like there are definitely some answers. Maybe they're not going to come in my lifetime, but I'm at least entertaining that there's a lot of things we don't know.
The tendon father right there. Let's go. Tristan, Welty, you guys got any final thoughts for us? What do we end us with a bang, dude?
My big complaint is for three different populations in my limited time is the wasting of time. And I'll start with the collegiate sector. Like right now, a lot of sports are in 8-hour weeks for like NCAA sports. And, they can only practice for 8 hours. And so they're supposed to be super diligent with their time. And yet, in 4 of the 5 practices, we're doing 30 minutes of the worst warm up. And it's like, well, now 25% of our week was an absolute waste of time. Um, and so like it's like bad time management. And then you take that to the general population of someone who has a full-time job, family, and they can only work out 2, 3 times a week. And now you're wasting 30% of their time doing crappy warm-ups. And then you take like a professional athlete population who is trying to do everything right. And you almost want to take maybe the via negativity approach, like take as much out as you can that they can still excel. And you're just adding more stuff in, like, oh, I need to do this warm-up. I need to do this. I need to do that. And now all of a sudden their 20-hour workout week is now 27 hours and they're even more fatigued. And I think that's just my biggest gripe or thing is adding in things that the athlete isn't even really bought into. They're kind of going through the motions, and for almost every population that would do them is going to be a waste of time.
Yeah, Welty, end us on a banger. Come on, dude. Tristan heated you up. He threw you the cookie.
Um, I, I,
Come on,
I guess the
Rinsler.
recent, most recent thing that I guess really has been just bothering me, I guess, would be more like kind of like Tristan was talking about, like hours, but I don't really work with college athletes anymore directly during the actual like in season. Is we work mainly with high schoolers, is like everyone's idea of like if we have an hour and a half for ice practice, we have to use that full hour and a half for something, right? So hey, we have 20 minutes left of actual ice. We've done all our drills, all that stuff, plays we want to draw up, everything like that. Hey, let's just bag them. Do a bag skate for the rest of the 20 minutes. And where it became an issue was this week where the girls team that trains with us has 4 games this week. The coach gave them 5 days off after New Year's. So then he bag skated them Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then Monday they had power skating at 6 a.m. Pre-game practice. They played on Tuesday, and they had dry like what? I'm like, and the captain's coming. Yeah, we got bagged again. Yeah, we got bagged again. Yeah, we got bagged again. I'm like, wait, how long are you guys? Hour and a half. I'm like, why do we need a bet? We have 4 games this week. We don't need to use the full hour and a half practice slot that we're given. Go watch film for 45 minutes. It's fine. And then like
Tristan's
because we
dad.
do
Just saw that clip.
us, and that like we have a lot of technology here and everything like that. So then like if we do any force plate testing or sprint stuff, I'm like, well, this is pointless. This helps me not one bit. Them coming in after getting bagged, just understand like where the team's at of like, and just basically scratching the whole training session that we have planned. Hey, we're just gonna play a game. Like the girls we just played on Monday before a game. I'm like, okay, well, we had this lift written up. Okay, all of you are absolutely gassed. Like this is to do nothing. Hey, we're just gonna play a game for 30 minutes. Then you guys can do your little like captain's meeting with the whole team, and then you can leave because I'm not gonna get anything out of this training session. And I feel like a lot of like sport coaches, not all sport coaches, but like a lot of sport coaches don't understand like how their athletes like actually feel or like how things affect them. Like not just like practice stress, but there's other stressors, of course. But then you can go down the other rabbit hole of like they're high schoolers, like they should be able to handle all kinds of stuff. But at the same time, I don't think using the power like, what affects valuable things for their overall development. Where I think they can get better development as a team and individual stuff rather than just bag skating them. And that's where like I know this is the first year with the team, so I don't really want to interject and say anything and really piss off
Local
the sport coach.
firefighter hates hockey coach. That's what I'm.
No, no.
That's the headline of the podcast. That's what I'm
No,
getting.
I can't hate him because he actually was a firefighter too, so I can't hate him.
Oh, I
Hates
see what it
women's
is.
hockey coach too. Throw that in there.
No. But it's just like it's not just the women's hockey coach; it's other coaches I've had in past. And so it's like because we're giving this amount of
Local
time,
firefighter hates women. Interesting. Yeah, and sells steroids to WADA athletes. All right. Well, do I see it?
but
I feel it.
yeah, I guess that's just the back of my mind. But of trying to figure out the best way I can approach this coach and just sport coaches to
Wait,
get them to understand of like getting the other teams to be able to develop and actually play better, like be better at their sport and get better for like the long term, not just this year, but like their team's really young. They have 5 8th graders on varsity, and 3 of those 8th graders are second, third, and fourth in points on the team. But I'm just like, hey, so you can be really good in the next couple years. But I guarantee you in the next 2 years, 3 out of the 4 8th graders are going to be leaving your team and going to like play at Shattuck from the conversations I've had.
have you thought about hiring Jake as the hockey coach?
Yeah.
I'd take care of that.
That's what I'm saying. Just Jake will just have them play spike ball and run clusters, and they're fucking set.
Jake, if you had them play spike ball or Austin, if you came here and just had them play volleyball, they would absolutely love you. That's all they wanted. Like that, and that's what I've done. It's like they know that the day before games they get to play a game. Like that's what I've given them. Like you can play a longer game because it's like after that they're like Austin, you've said it on multiple podcasts. Like there's so much more just invested, we'll say, into actually doing some sort of sprint jump or whatever it is if they get a little bit of fun. So like I just give them that and then I do like basically acceleration work. And almost every single person has PR'd after it. It's just hilarious. I'm just like, just gotta play more spike ball or volleyball.
Fuck yeah, dude. Local firefighter drops bombs on the podcast. Let's
Two
go.
people in the pit weight room were running a hypertrophy cluster today, just so you are aware. And they were talking about how fun
Legends.
and how effed it was. I didn't realize that we were going to get into that,
Oh yeah, have to. Clusters every day.
Clusters every day. It's the only option. Well, boys, appreciate you coming on. This is fucking awesome.
Jake, I'll
Meathead.
see you this week, right? See you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Welty, I will see you tomorrow. And Jake, we will play spike ball this week when you come to Welty's place to film content.
Yes, sir.
Fuck yeah. All right. See you, boys.
See you, boys.
Peace.